And we're live. All right, sweet. All right, you guys ready for the countdown?
Yes, sir.
And 3, 2, 1, go.
And we're off.
All right, sweet. Everybody recording?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
All right, here we go. Everybody ready?
Yep.
All right, let's do it. Me.
Oh.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to That Pixel Life. This is episode 23 for September 20th, 2018, and this week we're going to jump into several topics, including that Shadow of the Tomb Raider that just released last week, more Spider-Man talk coming Zach's way. We're also going to discuss Nintendo's latest Direct announcements and Nintendo Online, which literally just dropped like an hour ago. So we got to play around with a little bit before recording, so we'll talk about that as well. On our end of the episode segment 2, we're going to be talking about some stuff like that iPhone XS launch. The Apple announced all that stuff last week, and we're going to go into a little bit of the controversy surrounding that as well in our weekend review segment. So let's get started. My name is Josh Faulkner. Thank you guys for tuning in this week. Much appreciated. We got Zach Anderson there. Hi, Zach.
Hello.
How you doing, sir?
I'm wonderful. And yourself?
I'm hanging in there. Shannon Moore is out this week, unfortunately. He had some family stuff to attend to, so we gave him the week off, and he should be here next week. So hope Shannon's doing well. We got Alaina Grimm there, too. Hi, Alaina.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
How are you?
Oh, dude, today is a good day. It's a good day.
Good day. All right. All right. So I'm going to let you introduce our special guest.
Oh, everybody. I would like to introduce you to the bomb, Michael Grimm, my papa, my dad. What's up, Dad? How's it going?
Hey, Alaina. Hey, everyone. How you doing? Good to be here. I appreciate the reach out, and I'm ready to discuss and spend some time with you for the next couple hours and enjoy the banter.
Ooh,
Awesome.
yeah.
So people listening to this right now are probably like, really? That's your special guest is Alaina's dad?
You have no idea, y'all. He created this monster, dude.
Don't worry. It's not that lame. Trust me. We actually have a lot of history with Mike. Actually, the creation of this podcast was pretty much centered around a big group of people from an old Rotten Tomatoes video game discussion community that was like decades ago or more that most of us met from. Actually, the Gaming Outsider was from that as well. I mean, that's not what it is anymore, but that kind of all came here now. But yeah, so you guys wouldn't even have had that podcast either if it wasn't for that old Rotten Tomatoes community. And Bomb, that's how we actually met Alaina, is through him. So yeah, so there's a lot of history with Mike, the bomb over there, and so yeah, he's not just someone's dad; he's actually pretty important to us. So
like
thanks for being here, Mike.
The dadas in the background are really poignant and very
yeah. It's my special
perfect.
I'm adding in. You know,
I'm very into it. No, to be honest, Josh hit the nail on the head there, because if it wasn't for my dad, I would have never met. You know, I never would have met Shannon. I never would have met Josh. I never would have met Zach. It's all thanks to him. And I think I've mentioned this in previous podcasts, but since he's the bomb, I became the mini bomb. You know, he had me join the Rotten Tomatoes forum, and that was just the end of that. So it's kind of crazy to see this all come full circle. I can't believe you're here. I'm freaking pumped, man. I'm pumped. Let's do this.
All right, and that's actually, I'll jump in real quick. That's how I met Zach, through Rotten Tomatoes. We had a Christmas giveaway. And we met at Patchy's Pizza in Palo Alto, and I brought Alaina, and that's actually how we all met the first time.
What was she in a Baby Bjorn?
Oh, now I'm thinking of BoJack Horseman, but yeah, no. But I brought a game, and we exchanged some stuff, and then posted on Rotten Tomatoes, and that's actually how we met. And yeah, and then from there he would come over, and we'd get hammered and walk out front and watch the stars and get goofy and. Oh, good times. But yeah, so I'm happy. I'm happy to be here, guys. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, there was many a drunken rock band night at Mike and Alaina's back in the day. Those were good times. My favorite was when we met up for a Christmas dinner. I want to say it was like 3 or 4 years later, and the woman there assumed we were on a date. And,
like a gay date?
Yeah, and it was funny because
there's anything wrong with that.
No. It was funny though, because like we were just talking and everything, and I want to say it was about halfway through the dinner, Mike leans over and he's like, "I'm pretty sure this woman thinks we're on a date." And I'm like, "Really?" And he's like, "Yeah, like we should just kind of run with this and see like if we can get something out of it."
I think we can
all we ended up getting was all we ended up getting was a compliment. She thought we were very cute, and it was like, and it was very sweet. But it was like, it was just hilarious because he nailed it. I was like, no way. And he's like, no, trust me. She thinks we're into it.
Wasn't that in PF Chang's?
Yeah, the PF Chang's.
That's even more romantic. You took him somewhere nice. Wow.
Yeah, I really put it out there.
Nice.
Well, thanks for being on, Dad. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
We went Dutch on the dinner, though. So,
yes.
you know.
But who paid in that dinner, by the way?
That's what I'm saying. We went Dutch. We both paid
but we brought gifts for each other, and I think that's another reason why she thought.
That's right.
Yeah, because it was another Christmas giveaway type thing or something.
That's right.
Yeah, we both had bags full of stuff, and that was good times.
That was hilarious.
Those so for people listening, we used to do this annual Christmas giveaway thing, and they would raffle off, not raffle. Basically, you'd be thrown in a hat, and you'd draw 2 names, and that's the people that you would be like your secret Santa in a way. But there was no secret, like we knew who it was. And we would send each other just a box of shit every week. And sometimes you would put stuff someone would actually want in there. Other times you would just throw random nonsense in there as a joke. And most of the time people use it as a joke. And you'd get some goofy book and like a really shitty DVD and all kinds of stuff in there. It was pretty funny. It was enjoyable back in the day.
Yeah, I want to say one year I got the 4th Crow DVD. Or, yeah, what was it? The one with Edward Furlong.
Is that the one with Edward Furlong in it?
Yeah, with Edward Furlong and like iced teas in it, I want to say, or something. Like, oh, it's bad, dude.
Did you actually watch it?
Oh, I had to. It was great. Like, I mean, it's like, come on, a gem like that doesn't just fall out for free from the heavens. You have to watch it.
I got a copy of the Hannah Montana game on one of those, and I actually played through the entire thing. So
wow,
that's hilarious.
I got zombie porn from Randy, so I win.
Oh God.
Yep. I can't say I watched all of it, but I got through a little bit. I moved on and gave it to my brother.
That's one of those, if you can quote unquote win one of these things, that would be winning it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to call that winning? That works. So I guess.
Randy.
I just feel bad for Alaina having the picture of Dad watching porn now.
Dude, I don't even give a shit. It goes one in ear and out the other. I ain't even.
Trust me, the zombie porn was only for one reason. It was just to see what the heck was going on. There was nothing else going on.
I would have
so bad it was
rub
good.
one out. So.
Wait, this is not. Wait, I'm like, this is like ringing bells. Was this the House of the Dead one?
Yeah,
or something like that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
No, Randy got real personal that year. It was good times.
Jeez. All right, so moving forward here, head on over to that pixellife.com if you guys want more from us, including all the links that you may be interested in, like our Twitter handle, how to subscribe to us on YouTube. If you want to watch the video recordings of these podcasts each week, you can join our Facebook group there. Our Patreon page is up there as well. If you guys want to help support the show, there's a link to that as well. And all the podcast subscribe areas as well if you guys want to hit up all the different platforms to download us each week. Now, going forward here, I do want to make a note that we've been having some RSS feed issues with the show. And I've had several people come to my attention to tell me that they can't download new episodes of the show on whatever platform that they use. So as of right now, Google Play Music, for some reason, is not updating our RSS feed on their platform. It has not updated since September 11th, and our last episode came out on the 12th. So, like, it literally missed it by a day, and people cannot download the last episode, and hopefully it won't happen with this one either. But I did reach out to Google. Apparently, it's a Podbean thing that they're having problems with, so it's not just us, and they're working on it, and that should get resolved here in the next day or two. And I apologize for anyone that uses Google Play. Hopefully that will be fixed soon. Also, iHeartRadio and TuneIn was down as well, and we got it fixed on TuneIn. And I know iHeartRadio will happen here any moment now. They're working on getting that fixed as well, and it should happen anytime. So hopefully by the time this airs, that'll be fixed there as well for folks that like iHeartRadio. So again, sorry about that. If you are on Google Play, though, there's plenty of different Android apps that you can use to download the show as a backup plan. So Stitcher, we're still good on. Pocket Cast, we're still good on. TuneIn, we're good on now. All that stuff as well. So hopefully you guys.
I thought people were really upset about our Spider-Man takes because, man, no one listened to that show. People,
our download numbers have taken a hit, and I was like, what's going on here? And I looked at.
I was like, did word of mouth spread? Were people just like, F these guys and their Spider-Man takes? Like,
Yeah,
it was such a fun episode too. So I was really
I know.
I was like, you know what, man, it'll come around. I have a feeling people are still going to listen to it because that was a good one, man.
And the problem was because half the people listening couldn't get to it because it was just not updating on all the platforms. So again, we apologize for that. Hopefully this week that will all be resolved though. All right, let's get into our industry buzz section. Now, we're going to split this off into two pieces because Nintendo's Direct from last week is a pretty big one. There's a lot of stuff here they have. And so there's two things. That they have all their new announcements, and then they had the details of their Nintendo Online service that they gave us. And that thing just went live about an hour before recording this. I know Zach and myself checked it out, so we'll give you guys the deets on that as well. So let's start with the Nintendo Direct. First thing that they announced was Luigi's Mansion 3 coming to the Switch in 2019. Now, this was on my wish list for Switch games. I don't know about you guys, but I love these Luigi's Mansion games, and they opened the show with this, and I was stoked. Anyone feeling this one?
No, no, it was funny because the post I made on Twitter was basically something along the lines of like me rolling my eyes as I wait for Nintendo to hoist more bullshit about like titles they've already made and sell them to me as new games, blah, blah, blah. And then like Luigi's Mansion hits and I'm like, yeah, take my money. I'm good. Give me Luigi's Mansion. Great. Like, yeah, I'll buy that again. And it's like, damn it. I totally just fell for it. Like, son of a bitch.
That's how Nintendo makes their bread and butter, though.
Oh man,
I do the same thing moving from Wii U to Switch to, I buy the same things over, play for a few hours, remember how much I liked it, and then all of a sudden it just collects dust. And that's not Nintendo's great, their software is great, but that's what I end up doing most of the time, except for things like Splatoon, which that's a whole other ball.
The old Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze effect.
Yeah, exactly. Have it on every system, love it to death, but only put 5 to 8 hours into each one. It's like, what am I doing here?
I did the exact same
thing. Take my money, Nintendo. Take my money.
Yep, but I mean, at least this is a brand new game, and since the jump from Luigi's Mansion 1 to 2 was pretty big, like they added a lot of stuff into the second one that was different. So I'm really curious to see what they do with the tech here. So yeah, I'm stoked for that one. The next one I know Alaina is going to be excited for. I am too. They finally announced that Animal Crossing is coming to the Switch in 2019.
Yes. Everybody's summoning circles finally worked. We can retire them now. The internet collectively shit its pants. It's okay.
You can put all your sage away. You can,
your frankincense and wait a minute, that's too big. Never mind. Oh man, I'm pretty pumped. Yeah. So I was surprised to hear about this. This was actually the biggest shock for me personally because I was in the camp, the Pocket Camp, the Animal Crossing Pocket Camp, where I didn't think that Nintendo was gonna make it a new Animal Crossing. I thought they were just going to keep putting in all their energy in the Pocket Camp because they update that game constantly. But I'm quickly learning that's just the nature of mobile gaming,
Yeah, I knew this was going to happen, especially since the Switch is also a mobile platform. Animal Crossing is pretty big on mobile console. I mean, they make one for almost every console. They just didn't for the Wii U for obvious reasons. But yeah, I mean, they didn't really show anything off of the game. It was basically just a tease of like a CG trailer or whatever, and it just said coming in 2019. But ever since I saw this, I've had this huge like desire to play Animal Crossing again, and I don't have New Leaf anymore. Like I played that game to death, and then I got bored with it, and I ended up selling it like when it was still worth a lot of money. Now I'm half tempted to go rebuy it because you can buy it like dirt cheap now because I really want to play Animal Crossing. So I got Pocket Camp on my phone to sort of see if it would fill the void for me until the Switch version came out, and it's not going to fill that void, unfortunately. But I somehow still got hooked on it. So I've been playing a lot of Pocket Camp lately. My camp is pretty cool. I got a drum set in it now, which is pretty slick. But other than that, yeah, I'm really tempted to buy Animal Crossing New Leaf again. But yeah, I'm stoked for this one as well. Zach, have you played these at all?
I haven't played Animal Crossing, I want to say, since the GameCube. And for me, I actually really liked the GameCube version. For me, they're just too big of a time sink. Yep. Like it's the coming back and having to do things every single day, and getting certain days for special events, and also honestly I thought it with the Pocket Camp I thought was the perfect fit. It's because it was a mobile game before mobile games existed in a lot of ways. It
works really well on a mobile platform too. Like you could put a full blown Animal Crossing on an iPhone and it would work.
Yeah, so that doesn't surprise me now that their primary platform is a mobile platform. Or a portable platform, I should say, that they're bringing it over. But kind of like Alaina said, I figured that Pocket Camp was going to be their main focus there when it comes to Animal Crossing. Now, I mean, sure, like you said, it makes sense, but it wouldn't shock me if 5 years from now the phone version is the only version going forward.
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
Animal Crossing is the perfect like lay in bed and play before you go to sleep kind of game because it's so relaxing to play. You know, there's nothing crazy about it or difficult or anything like that. It's just super relaxing. I love those games to death.
And any game that encourages me to drink water and like chill out a little bit, I'm very into. You know what I mean? Like, oh, Lena, you brush your teeth, and I'm like, no, Sasha, I didn't brush my teeth. I'll go brush my teeth. You know.
So, will the phone version then, though, will it conflict with the Nintendo version as far as the portable version? Like, will they, you know, pull away customers from each one, or do they think they're going to get enough for each? I mean, it's Nintendo, so obviously they will.
I mean, Animal Crossing Pocket Camp is very much like a subset. Like, I mean, it's got the charm and like some of the appeal of Animal Crossing, but it's just like, hey, here's this campsite, and you know, you decorate your campsite, and that's about it. And you kind of do the monotonous tasks of the same shit every day, but for some reason, I still do it, which is like every other mobile game. You just tap on shit on the screen and make things happen. But yeah, I mean, it still has that appeal there a little bit, but it's not in a broad sense at all. Like the heart and soul of that game is not in Pocket Camp at all.
I bet they look at it kind of like Pokemon Go in the way that it's like they want Pocket Camp to be that gateway drug. You know, like you choose real hooked, now get you the real one over here and grab a Switch, you know, like one of those type of things.
Put AR shit. I'd be going through the park shaking fucking trees for apples and shit. Yeah.
You're giving them tips and tricks, man. Now that's actually a really good idea.
Giving people bells.
What I anticipate is some sort of integration with Pocket Camp and the actual core game. I can see that happening. Like we all know it's going to happen for Pokemon, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. They also announced that Isabella is coming as a Super Smash Brothers Ultimate character, which is pretty cool. Which the funny thing about this is that Waluigi fans like shit their pants when they saw this announcement, because now they're like, you're going to put a one game semi-popular character from Animal Crossing in as a fighter and no Waluigi. And I saw like a bunch of people on Twitter freaking out about this. But I mean, do people really like Waluigi? I thought people just liked him ironically.
He's a meme, man. Everybody just likes him. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's always with memes where it transcends irony and becomes like very genuine. And I think Luigi or Waluigi's kind of achieved that level of meme status. But yeah, Isabelle being, you know, offered, I was pretty happy about. Plus, people are joking because she's number 68. Who is number 69 going to be? Who's going to be the 69th fighter? And everybody's like, yo, Waluigi? Waluigi?
It should be Toad. It should really be Toad.
Topical.
With recent news, it should be Toad.
Oh, Twitter. Oh my gosh.
Hey, so a quick question about that.
Yeah.
You guys think I'm a somewhat of a fan of the series but do you think it could get to a point where they're adding too many characters? I mean, are we going to get a...
Like it's overwhelming?
Yeah. I mean...
We're there.
Like, we're there. I mean...
Yeah.
Does it get to a point where if people want to try to master a few and they're never going to really get to play them all? I mean, are they ever going to stop, or do we know?
I sort of play it that way anyways. Like, I don't think I've ever, like on the last, the one that came out on the Wii U, I don't think I played every character in that game. I just picked my favorites, the ones I liked the most, and just played them. You know, I mean, there's people that are hardcore that probably will, but I don't know. To me, the more the merrier. But I could see what you're talking about. I could see some people getting overwhelmed by that.
Oh, absolutely. We talked about it a couple podcasts ago where Shannon was like, yeah, it's too much. I kind of agreed with Shannon here, where it's just a lot all at once. You know what I mean? It's hard for somebody to join, you know, for this iteration of Smash when it's just so daunting. It's almost overwhelming with how many characters there are you can choose. And I kind of compare it to Overwatch in the sense that I pride myself as being a flex player, somebody who can play a lot of characters in Overwatch, but this isn't, you know, you can't do that in Smash. Like, you need to pick your mains, bro, because you need to put that time in so you can actually get good. You can't be floating from one character to the other because you're just going to get your ass beat, you know?
Yeah.
And I want to try every character at least once. And if we're getting into 70, 80 characters, that's even going to be difficult.
So you're going to be playing for 6 days, basically, before.
Because there might be one you like that you had no interest in, but they fight differently or do something that you really enjoy. But how are you really going to, I don't know. I mean, I'm not complaining. I would rather see more than less. Obviously, you don't want to see 8 characters because then it's like, what the hell? But, you know, 70, 80, I get it. I get the appeal. It's just I'm of the belief that I want to try them all and really see which ones I want to play. But that's going to be rough.
Yeah.
You
Well,
can
some
take
hours in
solace.
the day.
You could take solace in the fact that some of them are clones, so basically the same character, just with a different outfit and some, slight differences. So
Yeah. Okay.
What how many fighters on screen at a time?
They're up to 8.
yeah, it's
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, well, the typical match is 4, but on the Wii U version they introduced 8, but it's like a special mode. It's not like tournament ready.
It's gonna
or
be
anything
messy.
Like that. It's more
So you
just
could
like
do
fun.
so you could do like Duck Hunt, Dog, and Lucario, and Wolf, and Isabella, and have like dog fighting rings.
Pretty much. Yeah, like Michael Vick. Yeah,
Yeah.
You won't have to go to prison for it.
yeah. That's the legal dog fighting. Absolutely.
Oh wow. Okay.
This just took a dark turn, but yeah.
Yeah. That's why you're here, right?
That's why
Oh,
we're
well,
here, bro.
yeah,
At least a little bit.
yes.
So next up, they announced the new Super Mario Brothers U port, which we all saw that coming for the Switch, which has the Luigi U expansion in there as well, and they added some new characters to it that are playable. Again, like there's not really much to say about that. We had a feeling that was going to come, and here it is. So that's coming next year as well. The new Yoshi game, they finally showed that off. It's called Yoshi's Crafted World. Again, it has some kind of like artistic.
That's 3DS though, right? Or is that?
That's
No, that was okay.
Yeah,
Actually, I know there was a few things they announced 3DS, but I thought that was one of them. Oh, the Kirby. They're bringing Kirby. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead. Never mind.
Yeah. There's Kirby's Epic Yarn or whatever's coming for the 3DS.
It was one of those like 3D platformers that has a crafted look to it. It's like it's whatever.
Yep.
They both fit that bill.
Yep. So Yoshi's doing it again with Crafted World. And this is like paper, like origami kind of looking stuff. I think is kind of the art aesthetic with this one. Looks like more Yoshi's Island kind of thing. So if you're into that, there it is. I'm into it, so I'll probably check it out. There's a lot of Final Fantasy announcements here as well. So pretty much every Final Fantasy game except for Final Fantasy VIII is coming to the Switch next year. Which I'm okay with that because I hated 8. 8 sucked. So
I have some friends who are pissed. Yeah, I have some friends who are okay. Here's another.
Yeah, like 8 is better than 7.
No.
Oh shit!
Better than 7. Like
No.
the card battling system.
Now, if you said 9, I would. I would.
9 is better than 8. Like 9 is the best one they released. That it's better than 10. All that, but 9 is amazing. 9 and it bums me out because 9 is also the last one that was actually like fantasy. You know what I mean? It's the last like fantasy Final Fantasy they made. And it's one of the best
Final Fantasy.
the final Fantasy.
Yeah.
But I'm just happy that X2 is coming because Dress Spheres rule.
Yes. Yeah, you said it first, so I can piggyback. Yeah, man, I'm super excited. I can't wait to go to work and just like get my waifus all dressed up in their cosplay outfits for the day and just float away. It's gonna be amazing. I can't wait for like Pain and Riku in HD remastered costumes. Oh my goodness, they're gonna look so good. Ooh. I did want to ask though, what's up with the lack of 8? Was that just out of spite or like why?
I don't know. They ported it to PC not too long ago, so I'm surprised they skipped that one.
I wonder if it's just a licensing issue, like it's hung up somewhere. Like you'll see it in a year when it comes out, or so one of those type of things when an agreement somewhere runs out or something.
Yeah,
like
I don't know. That game definitely has its fans. I'm not one of them, but it has its fans. I'm excited for 7. I'll buy 7 on any fucking platform I can get it on. I love that game to death. So
overrated.
Whatever. If you're into Final Fantasy, like from 7 all the way up to 12 is coming out on the Switch, except for 8. And then like with that one of those chocobo, like random chocobo dungeon ones or whatever is coming out on there as well. So
did you ever play X2? Josh or Mike?
Oh, there it goes. Cut out.
So it cut out on us.
You cut out, but I heard him. He asked if we'd ever played that X2 or. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Final Fantasy is not my. I played 7 a little bit, and I've never played any other one. So actually, that's a great question. Let's lead into that. So as someone who's obviously never played it, and I think you guys are going to have different answers here. But let's say I want to pick one to play on the Switch. What's a good starter one? Because everyone I hear says 7, 7, 7. So
Tactics.
9.
Yeah, I'd actually go with Josh on that. I think 9 is probably your best. It's the best balanced one.
Yeah, Seven has one of the best stories to me, but it's also one of the ugliest looking Final Fantasies because the battle system, like the characters in battle look good, but when they're actually like exploring the world, they look like a blocky mess, and that might throw people off. Who, especially because Mike, you're kind of a graphics guy, right?
No, I mean I can play games that aren't necessarily graphics driven, but
Okay.
I mean if I can get it, I'll take it, obviously. But
Yeah,
no,
I would say 9 would be your jam.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Maybe I'll give it a shot then, because
you're not like the fattest fan of turn-based RPGs either, so that's why I'm kind of worried. You know what I mean?
well, let me segue into something because I like to promote this game any chance I get. So I'm not a fan of story-driven or turn-based anything, but
you don't want to play Final Fantasy then, man.
but
all right.
As I've gotten older, I've played this game called Divinity Sin, and I don't think anyone gives this game enough credit. I mean, the reviews are there, but no one seems to play it that I talk to. Divinity Sin and Divinity Sin 2 are the best. I don't like story, but I'll listen to that story all day long. I don't like turn-based, but the fighting and the combat in that is the best combat of any game I've ever played, turn-based or not.
Now,
So
is it like 3/4 angle like Diablo style? Or I'm trying to remember which one.
I think it's like Baldur's Gate. Like
more
kind of
Baldur's
style
Gate.
combat.
Okay.
Yep. But I mean,
so
I came across the game. Sorry to go on a segue here, but I love to promote this game. So, I kind of came across this game organically on PS4 because it was couch co-op, and I have a buddy of mine who loves Civ 6. He loves all the Civs, and he's all into turn-based. And I wanted something to play with him when he came over. So I was like, all right, I'll buy it. And sure enough, we put I'd say about 185 hours into the first game. We platinumed it. It had a mode in it. This mode's hilarious. Where if you die, it's called Honor Mode. It's made by British dudes, honor with a U. But if you die, you have to start over from the beginning, like the very beginning of the game. And we died twice and had to start over. And we were like 3/4 of the way through each time. And we started over from the very beginning of the game and finally got that platinum. It's my most proud platinum trophy I have. But I just, if anyone loves, if you guys love turn-based and you love Final Fantasy, I'm telling you, man, give Divinity 1 or 2 a shot. Just give it 5 to 10 hours of your time, because you're going to need that much to really know what's going on, but really play it and just bathe in its beauty. There's a reason why it's 94-95% on game rankings. I mean, it's just that good. I almost feel like if I go to Final Fantasy 9, I'll just compare it to that constantly, even though they're not really the same. But I definitely want to try Final Fantasy because that's everybody's jam, and so I'll definitely give it a shot. And I think since you guys have both recommended 9, that's probably where I'll start. But
cool.
let me tell you that Divinity Sin is, for someone who doesn't like story-driven games or turn-based anything, it's great.
And
I'll check that out when it's like dirt cheap somewhere on a Steam sale.
I'll throw one more lob out there for X2. Like, the story is kind of ridiculous, and yes, like some of those things that happen in that game are silly, but I'll be damned if it's not the best combat system Final Fantasy has ever developed.
Yeah.
Like, it's amazing.
Yep.
And how they haven't ripped that thing out of X2 and put it in literally every game they've made since, I don't understand. It
flows so well. It feels so good. It's so rewarding.
So engaging. It keeps you playing this game where you're like literally putting girls in costumes. But you have to keep playing it because the combat is just so good. And
I remember when that game came out, like I had no interest in it, so I didn't play it. And then it hit like dirt cheap on PS2. I think I got it for like $5 or something. So I'm like, fuck, I'll try it. And I was shocked how much I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Right? It's like a guilty pleasure. It's always one of those I kind of keep to myself until I'm like, all right, I'm in good company. I'm going to throw this out there.
Yeah.
My shame, my secret shame for all of you.
Yeah, totally.
So what did they do with the combat on the more recent iterations what did they change to make
they went to more of like an MMO style combat, like things happening in more real time and buffs and things of that nature that need to happen throughout your party. It's okay. Like there's all and granted, I stopped at, is 13 the one with lightning and all that?
Yes.
Yeah, I put about 8 hours into that and was like, yeah, I'm done. I'm done with Final Fantasy, I think. So
yeah, that same thing happened to me too. That's crazy.
You didn't play 15
Nah.
15 is not bad, man. It's not bad.
I haven't. I own it. Shannon's been trying to get me to play it for like a year. He literally gave it to me and was like, just play it. And I just haven't started it.
It's unfortunate too, because I did put some time in a 15 as well, and I realized why I stopped. It was one of those moments where I was like, this is bad, just in a different way. Is the one with like 13? It's just it's bad in a different way. I just didn't like it. I don't know why either. It just wasn't as rewarding. It wasn't as fun. I
actually enjoyed it. I just never finished it. I have put maybe 7-8 hours into it, and I got sidetracked with something else, and I just never returned to it.
I mean, it's just not dress spheres, right, Alaina? High five over here. Internet.
I mean, you can you can put outfits on them. They're just not as cute, man. Like all those little boy band guys. I was like, all right, I'm clearly supposed to be interested in one, and I wasn't. Like not the same way I was interested in Pain and Yuna and Riku, and like I just wanted to marry all of them. You know what I'm saying, man? Like maybe it was the waifus. Maybe it was the fact that they were cute ladies. Maybe that's why it didn't hit with me.
Maybe.
Hey, man, who knows?
Yep. Shoot. Now, before we get to the one that's gonna make Zach melt here, I do want to mention that there was a couple smaller announcements there as well. They announced a new RPG called Town, which didn't really interest me any. It was just sort of a chibi kind of cartoony RPG with sort of a goofy turn-based battle system. Civilization 6 is coming out on the Switch, which is a pretty big deal. City Skylines, they just randomly dropped that on the Switch as well, if you guys like city building games. And they're also remaking the original Katamari Damacy on the Switch. I never really got into those games myself, but I know a lot of people dig them, so look forward to that.
Did you see the one that was the prince's face on the screen and someone photoshopped the two Joy-Cons to be...
Yeah, that beautiful.
I was like, man, that's got to happen. That just needs to be a thing. It's really cool,
man. I was really impressed with it. It's much more impressive than the Pikachu and Eevee one they put out. Not so great.
Yeah.
I was hoping for a new game, to be honest. I was being a little greedy. When I found that it was just a remaster, I was like, oh, okay. I mean, yeah, okay.
Yeah. I mean, people have been asking for a Katamari game for a while, and I mean, here it is. We got something. So yeah.
I'll take it.
I've been asking for a Luminous game forever, and they remastered that shit too. But I was happy to have it. So yeah. So they also announced some Nintendo controller Joy-Cons that you can snap to the side of your Switch. You can charge them, pull them off, and then play NES games through the online service there as well. And those are going to be 2 controllers for $60. Now, Zach, I know you have a lot of opinions on this. I'm going to throw this your way, man.
Well, the thing that so they release this product that I think is really good, and it solves a big problem for this online service, which is the lack of a good D-pad, which the Joy-Cons do not possess. And we'll talk about it. Their online service, just playing basic Nintendo games on it now. Yeah, it's bad. Like, it's bad with some of these controls to try to control with just the Joy-Cons. And so having a Nintendo controller to do this would be great. Would be a great solution to this problem.
However, and they're wireless, so they're like $60 for 2 isn't too bad.
No, actually, I think that's pretty fair price. Like they snap onto the Switch, they charge through the Switch. It's you can hold them sideways on the thing. Not that you ever would, but it's made to work with the system specifically, and it's proprietary and it's first party. Like it's all like at $30 each. I think that's totally fair. When Microsoft and PS, granted, they're way more complicated controllers, but when they're charging you $70 for a new controller, $60 for a pair seems all right. But my issue is you can only buy them if you sign up for their online service, and that
you know that though.
That we do know that that pre-order is live right now. You can go on to Nintendo's site to try to pre-purchase them, and you have to log in to pre-purchase.
I read the fine print too. He's right. You have to be subscribed,
or you cannot buy them.
Yep, you have to have an active online
membership. Yep.
Well, that sucks. But I mean, will they release them in stores eventually? We're going to just bypass that part.
I don't think so, dude. You have to go online.
So do we think they'll change? Do we think they'll change that if there's enough fervor?
Maybe, but I think it's kind of like what you said initially, Mike. It's Nintendo. They have their audience. I don't think they need to. And if anything, they're only charging $20 for the online service. But essentially, what they're doing is now these controllers are $40 each.
Right.
And it just strikes me as really gross. Like that's my issue with it. Is it's like by saddling it with this product, the online product, you're trying to, I'm sure, get a lot more. subscribers, people to buy in, throw the $20 in because I really want these controllers. Because at that point, it almost seems like the online service is just your toss in purchase. But the whole thing just smacks of like bad faith business to me. And
so this doesn't make any sense to me because I understand why you're saying it's gross because it is, but I don't see this being this way for forever. Like I wonder if this is just like, hey, this is just like a now thing, but they're going to come to stores like maybe early next year or something like that. Like I think this is stupid to just not sell these in stores because I feel like the majority of people who are going to buy these will pick them up at a Target or a Best Buy or something like that and not order them specially online after they subscribe to the service. That just seems like a dumb move to me.
Maybe that's what they're doing. They're basically waiting, like, oh, here are people who want it now, who are willing to buy it now, and then they wouldn't say, oh, it'll be available in stores, early 2019, because then people will obviously wait. So maybe they're keeping that in their back pocket. That's a possibility.
That's definitely a possibility, but I wouldn't put it past Nintendo for them to dig their feet on this one and dig their feet in and be like, I mean, I'm not saying that'll happen because you never know with Nintendo, but they have the enormous balls to do it. They've done it before with certain things, and they just. I love Nintendo, but they're like things like that are the exact reason why it's hard to maintain sometimes with them.
And I'm assuming these controllers will work on games outside of the NES collection as well. But to be honest, people are going to buy them for that, and that is part of the online service. So maybe you're right. Maybe they will keep it that way. But
and to piggyback off Mike's point, guess what comes next year? The SNES store with the SNES controllers that are going to be that much a piece. And then the year after that, you're going to get the N64 controllers. They've just...
How the fuck would you snap that onto the side of your...
Oh, Nintendo will find a way.
Yeah, trust me. But it's like they're just lining themselves up for it's the NES Classic all over again. They found a way to make you buy another goddamn NES Classic. You already bought one for $60, didn't you? Guess what? You're going to buy another one, but now it's 2 controllers in your Switch. Like that's
what we asked for from the start.
Yeah, and here it is. Like.
And I'm thinking to myself, I just got the SNES for my birthday, and I'm like, dude, I swear to God, Nintendo, do not, don't mess with me like that. Don't mess with me.
Already happening.
Yeah, they do it all the time.
All right, so let's just go all in on the online service here because we're already getting into it. So I'm just going to go over the quick facts real quick, and I'm going to let you guys tear it apart or praise it or whatever you want to do here. It just went online literally about an hour and a half ago. It's about 9 p.m. Eastern. It was 6 p.m. Pacific, I guess, is what your guys' time over there when it hit.
It's called specific time.
Yeah, specific time. So $20 for a whole year. Or you can pay $3.99 a month, which I don't know why you would do that because it's easier to pay $20, I would think. It's significantly cheaper. The online play is now gated behind this service, so you cannot play online unless you have it. There is an NES on-demand game library. It's a separate app that you download, and they add games to it every month. So you just have an on-demand library of NES games to play that are gated behind the service as well. You get cloud save storage. So if you want to back up your game saves in the cloud, you can do that now. They're not guaranteeing that they will stay there after you unsubscribe, but you can do it while you're subscribed. They add a new online functionality to the online app for smartphones, but from what I've seen, there's really not much different at all. And then they're going to put special deals up and sales for subscribers as well on the eShop, so you can probably get digital games cheaper, like PlayStation Plus and games with gold and all that stuff. They'll probably give you 20% off on a game here and there or something like that, but we don't really know what that is until they start announcing it. So that's their online service, $20 a month. Go ahead, guys. What do you think?
I have a question about that. So the first one for me is the family plan for $35. Now, I read a little bit about it, but from what I read, it said you could have up to 8 people on that. So what's to stop us from all pulling in together, getting a family plan for $35, finding 8 people, and everyone paying $4 to $5 a piece?
Your morals?
Yeah, I don't think you.
Morals with Nintendo.
You remember who we're talking to? That no morals.
It's like, look, they've taken enough of my money. I'm keeping this. This is for no. I completely agree with you, Dad. I don't know if it's because it says 2 or more accounts for 12 months for $34.99. So I'm like, okay, why don't we all just leapfrog on that?
Well, I read somewhere it was up to 8, but what I want to know is sometimes that could mean Logan plays my Switch here. My grandson, he plays my Switch, and he has his own account. You know, maybe they're counting that, not necessarily someone, you know, sub accounts almost. So I couldn't find anything to I couldn't find anything to really explain that. So I'm thinking, shoot,
like was it like IP locked or something? Maybe
because well, I don't see how, because I was going to buy it for me and Alaina, but I'm thinking, well, shoot, if it's $35 for 8 people, why am I doing it for 2? I might as well find a bunch of people and we'll do it all together. And
I was under the assumption that it was like 8 accounts on one Switch, maybe, but I have no idea. Like, I don't know if it's 8 physical Switches or if it's 8 accounts on one.
That would make more sense, because 8 just seem too much.
I honestly have no idea. I have no answer to that question. But if it is,
have to do more research.
Yeah, if it is 8 physical Switches, fuck yeah. Like, why isn't everyone just pitching in and getting this?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so I signed up. Sorry, what was that?
Sorry, I was saying your way sounds right, though. I mean, it would make sense to me, because Nintendo's not going to give 8 of those out for $35. It's just, I could see family being 2, maybe 3, but they're not going to do more than that. It's not how they operate. So that makes more sense to me. I only read it like superficially. I didn't really get into it, so that's probably what it is.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking 2 or more accounts isn't necessarily 2 profiles, because, for example, I have myself and my boyfriend as profiles or accounts on the Switch, and I would think that would just count as 1. I would think, unless we both unless we individually signed up for a Nintendo Direct account. You know what I mean? I think it's the account specifically, but just like you said, I'll have to do more research, because I think they were like kind of purposely vague on this, you know?
Because it doesn't work that way on an Xbox, right? Like, if you have an Xbox One, like, every user profile on that one physical Xbox has to have their own gamer tag in the account, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, but then it gets tricky when you have multiple. Like, I have a couple PS4s, a couple Xboxes in my house. Sometimes it got tricky doing profiles on each one within because it's under one account. So it got weird sometimes, especially on the PS3. Not so much now. The PS4 and Xbox One are better about that. But yeah, I could see that being a little tricky as well. But yeah, we definitely want to do some research on that and understand it better.
Yeah, I'll probably have an update this time next week, to be honest, man, because I'm totally going in for it. Like, it's only a matter of time. To be honest, you guys, I was playing some games earlier, I think around 4 p.m. today, and I was able to get on, and I was like, okay, Nintendo, where's your online service? What's going on? Because I'm not getting kicked out of this free online play yet. So it turns out it hit really late in the night. So more towards the end of the day did they get, everything finalized. So
yeah. Yeah, they should have just said the 19th, not the 18th, because it was like the very tail end of the day.
On their website, it says for up to 8 Nintendo account holders. So, anyone have any idea what that means?
No, it's still kind of, it's fucker. It's still just, I don't know.
I want to get my $4 plan. Come on, people.
Reggie's over there like, bomb. No,
Reggie's the, but I got
not on my watch.
Bomb. I should be able to do it. Bombs, I got a tattoo. They should let me. They should give it to me for life for that tattoo.
Right? But, just because of that.
Yeah, right?
Reggie, look what I got, man. Hook it up. So I did sign up for this when it went live. I didn't pay the $20. I just did the 7-day trial that they give you, and I'm probably going to pay for it, because $20 to me is cheap for this. Even just for the online play, and the cloud saves. Like, to me, that's worth it, because I do like to play Mario Kart randomly online here and there. So I did sign up for it. I downloaded the NES app and played around with that a bit. To me, the service seems okay. I don't know if how substantial the discounts are going to be, like for the special sales for subscribers. That might be, add a lot of worth to it as well. But that NES app is pretty slick. I mean, those games load up super fast. They're like instant.
It's a hell of an emulator. That's the part I wanted to talk about too. There's
21 games on it right now. I mean, they have stupid shit like Balloon Fight. Nobody fucking plays Balloon Fight. Nintendo.
You're mean to me. I love Balloon Fight. Oh shit. Well.
Yeah, no one plays Balloon Fight, but they have some pretty decent games on it right now. They're adding more every month. The games boot up instantly. They have the pixel perfect modes, like pretty much everything you would expect to see on the NES Classic. They have featured here. They have the save states.
You know what's super rad that they have included in that is the original pro wrestling game. I love that game so much.
Fire in the title?
No. That's the one where the guy was getting dropped on the or I forget the suplex. He's getting suplexed on the cover, but it's the one with like Starman and like the Black Lagoon guy. It's like all these like total random one-off creation wrestlers that they made, but it's actually a really good wrestling game, especially in the 8-bit era. But yeah, it's
and
really
I heard it doesn't take up much space too, something like 58 megs or something. It's all under one file, and it's just
Tiny,
really fast. And yeah, so that's good.
It's solid. Now the games to me play like shit on a Joy-Con.
Mhm.
I popped off my left Joy-Con and I just played it like that. And like the analog stick, just I played Super Mario Brothers, and like I didn't get the accuracy that I normally get with a D-pad. I played a little bit of Double Dragon. I played some River City Ransom on there. I played Ghouls and Ghosts or Ghosts and Goblins, whichever the hell one that was. I played that a bit. I mean, like the emulation's great. The games feel good. I wish I had a D-pad, but other than that, like it's pretty slick.
Damn, man, it was only out for a couple hours. How'd you play all that?
I mean, I just dabbled in a few of them here and there. I didn't play them long. I mean, the NES games ain't like they're deep, but I if they get a lot more games in here and then they start throwing in other consoles, maybe even get some Genesis, like partner with Sega and get that stuff in there, like this service would be significantly awesomer.
And it would make it would awesomer. That's maybe
I just it's a thing now. Okay,
Run with
so
it might be the most
Latin from Cole. Yeah,
yeah.
It might be the most awesomerist. But the no, I think if they go forward with that, what you're saying, Josh, it makes the death of the virtual console make a lot more sense to me, because
this is better.
It's a better thing. It's a replacement for it, and it's way more modern. It plays into the long game of what video games are becoming, which is subscription-based services and things along those lines. You know, you're seeing it with Game Pass and all these games with Gold and PS Plus, and everyone's got their subscription service now, and it makes a lot more sense for Nintendo to provide these classic games as a service. And so
they put more in here from the start, like, because I mean, this is Super Nintendo would have been a much bigger grab for people to me. Like, they should have thrown some of that stuff in here too. Like, if this was really what they're planning, why did they just stick with NES and NES only right now?
Because they want to keep all that a little bit, and I'm sure, but that's also they want to. Why shoot everything out at once? They can dole it out to you in little bits at a time and give you sales and give you all these things that are going to make you, when you're bleeding out $1 or $2 at a clip, you don't realize it. But if they were to say, here's the service and it's $80 a year, all of a sudden everyone's like, whoa, hey,
I'm not talking about raising the price. I mean, obviously, if this thing gets too big, they're going to raise the price. But
yeah.
I feel like they could have added a little bit more to entice people to sign up.
They're still trying to get people like me to buy those consoles, man. I just got that SNES console, man, and they're trying to make that money, hun. That's what they're doing. That's all
what this is. Like that, like every perk of having one of those is in this package for the NES app. So it's basically just an app version of the NES Classic, but just not the same games. But all those games will probably end up there anyways.
I'm shaking my head, man. That's so frustrating, because didn't that come out just a year, 2 years ago, max? 2
years.
They released it this summer.
Yeah, and they did do the re-release this summer. You're right. So,
and as far as communication goes, you use your smartphone if you want to talk online, right?
For the online app, that's
so Alaina, we did this, right? Remember when me, you, and Logan played Splatoon? It wasn't that bad. I mean, it ran okay.
It leaves yes, but it leaves a lot to be desired. It's really I know, but still, it's like really rudimentary, and I was expecting it to be more fleshed out. So I'm genuinely really hoping that now that they've released the online service, I can return to that online app and see something different than what I saw when I played in July, because I was just I
assume it'll be better since you're paying for it now. I would hope Nintendo does that.
And they do have voice chat, like native voice chat on the Switch now, because you can use it with Fortnite. So I think games can implement that if they want to. Speaking of Fortnite, Fortnite, you don't have to have a Nintendo Online to play online.
Oh, what?
Yeah,
nor Warframe.
Yeah. So
really?
I don't know if Paladins is that way or not as well. It might be too. But so free to play games, you don't have to have Nintendo Online, at least the ones that are there now. So,
and did you see they're releasing a Fortnite bundle for Switch?
Yeah, that's going to sell.
Yeah. That's
trying to hit that 20 million mark, man. They're trying to hit that goal.
I hate Fortnite. Oh.
My nephew's addicted, so my dad has to deal with it all the time, man. Like all these little emotes and all these dances and all this bullshit. And apparently they do this thing where they only offer emotes for a short period of time. So my nephew Logan will come out and be like, hey, give me, I need it now. I need it now. And I'm just like,
the way they do it is so predatory. But I tried to get him to play PUBG because that's the superior original version, but he won't touch it.
So, oh, let's fight.
Yeah, PUBG's so good, but Fortnite's, well, I mean, hey, everyone loves it. It's causing tons of divorces. Kudos, way to go. But I'll take PUBG every day of the week.
Oh, man. No, I think they're both very different games. At least, I mean, one's really heavily based off the other, but Fortnite's totally become its own thing at this point in time. Like, it's crazy.
I like Fortnite more than PUBG. I just think it's more fun for me, but I can understand why people.
I get both sides for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, but being a parent to that is it's not easy, man. I've seen it.
So I'm surprised. I there's not too much Nintendo Online hate here. Everyone seems to be okay with it for the most part.
I guess
because it's so cheap. It's just because it's so cheap. If this was $20 a month, I would hate it. But it's $20 for a year.
Are you subscribing?
Yeah, just because I probably want to play Mario Kart Online at some point in the next year, and that's worth $20. If I can play some Mario 3, sure, why not?
Yeah.
That's another thing. Like they have online play on these games now, but it's only with friends. You can't play with random people.
What, for the SNES games?
For the NES games, yes.
Yeah, you can do co-op and online. I was reading about that, and I was like, dude, you've got to be kidding.
But no random people. It's only people on your friends list. So
I'm kind of okay with that. I mean, I think they'll branch out in a couple of years and do something different, but maybe have online play. But I was really, really impressed with that. I actually watched the entire Nintendo Direct, and I remember this at one point getting to the SNES section and kind of, phasing out a little bit, kind of paying less attention because the NES games were way, way before my time. But then I remember seeing the little segment with Bowser as a dad hogging the controller from baby Bowser Jr. And I was like, oh man, isn't that so fitting? Because that's exactly how it is with my dad and I. Like, he'd be very into the NES era of games, and I'd be sitting there wanting to play, and I'm like, all right, Nintendo, there you go, pulling at my heartstrings again. I'm back, I'm here. All right, let's do this.
You just got compared to Bowser, homie. How do you feel about that?
I look the part.
Bowser's a bad bitch, bro, and I'm Bowser Jr. Okay, so let me do it, man. I got it. Give me the controller, bro.
You got it. Anytime. You can have it anytime you want.
Oh, yeah. Woo.
Sweet. All right. So, Nintendo Online is up now. So, anyone who wants to subscribe, you just go to the eShop, sign up, and you get instant access to that NES app as well if you wanted to use that, if you're into that at all. But, yeah, it's there. And I recommend it. I think it's fine for the price. I'm going to definitely pay the $20. And if I don't use it as much within that 12 months, I just don't have to subscribe again. So
yeah, I'm curious to see how the general population reacts to this. Like most gamers, I can't wait to read about this on Twitter so Toad can fade away.
Yeah, I see no problem with it. I think it's
why do you keep mentioning it?
Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying, aren't you going to want the service though? If you're getting games in the future, future proofing like Smash Brothers and whatnot, you're going to need it. And how no one mentioned Splatoon 2, I have no idea since that's the greatest shooter of this generation. But hey, I'll leave that be.
For the Nintendo Switch,
best shooter of this generation, any system.
Let's fight later. It's okay. We'll fight later.
Later, that the comedic timing on that was just so perfect. God damn it.
Streets, bro. We'll splat it out. It's good.
All right. We'll go ahead and move on to our weekly consultation because we got a lot to talk about here. So let's open it up with Shadow of the Tomb Raider. So this game dropped on Friday. Now, Mike, you've been playing it, right?
Yeah, I have about 8 hours in.
Okay, so you're farther than I am. I'm about maybe 3 hours into it. So I'm still pretty early on, but I'm glad someone else is playing it, so I have someone to talk to about it here. Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
And sorry, just to be clear, you guys both played the last 2, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
Yes. Okay, so I'm playing it on Xbox One X.
Same.
Okay, cool.
Actually, I'm sorry to give a little background on that. That's the first game multi-platform that I bought on the Xbox. I usually went PS4, but because I finally got an Xbox One X, I think this game just better graphically. Not that I'm a dead screen guy or anything, but I do like my graphics. So I have an OLED TV, so that with the Xbox One X and then the higher frame rate, it's just a beautiful thing. It's probably prettier than anything I've even played on PC, and I have a pretty current video card on my PC, and I can't think of any game that looks better. It looks amazing.
Yeah, it's really good. I'm playing. I played in the 4K mode. I don't really. To me, this game plays pretty well with 30 frames per second. So I'm not, too big on the higher needing the higher frame rate. I mean, I'm sure it plays better that way, but I kind of like the prettier graphics because this game is stunning in 4K, and it damn near hits native 4K on the Xbox One X. So it's super super pretty. Now. I've always been vocal about this series. Tomb Raider is a franchise I was never a big fan of. Sure, I've played several of them back in the day. I remember the very first one I played on the Saturn when everyone else was playing on PlayStation, and I enjoyed it back then. But past that, like I never really was big in Tomb Raider. And then they rebooted it, and they rebooted it twice. And the 2013 Tomb Raider that Crystal Dynamics developed. Actually, they developed the other reboots that they did as well, like back in the like late PS2, early 360 era as well. But that 2013 Tomb Raider game, I loved it. It was probably one of my favorite games from last gen. It's probably in my top 10 of my favorite games of that last gen. I thought that game was just a blast from start to finish, and I've always said that I prefer these games over the Uncharted games. I know people will always give me crap about that, but to me, that Tomb Raider game from start to finish was consistently fun. There's nothing about it that annoyed me. I just had a blast with it. And the Uncharted games, there's always segments of them that piss me off, and the combat I'm not the biggest fan of.
Well, that's and you just hit the nail on the head. The combat in the Tomb Raider games is just so much better. It's like shooting the arrow into someone's skull feels great every single time you do it. Yes. It's the Kratos recalling his axe back of that generation. It's like every time you release the bow, it feels great. And nailed it,
Yes. But so here's the thing. Now that you mention that, here's the thing. So I love that game. I love the 2013 one. Rise of the Tomb Raider, I loved it too. It was fantastic. I liked the 2013 one more. I know some people preferred Rise of the Tomb Raider. I did not, but I still loved it to death.
Yeah.
You prefer that one? Okay.
Yeah.
So Shadow of the Tomb Raider, the third one in this reboot, the second reboot series, I was very much, it was one of my most anticipated games this year. So I went into it really hyped up, couldn't wait to play it. And like Zach just said, the best thing about this game is the combat. The combat in these three games are super, super fun. There's no enemy encounter in those last two Tomb Raider games that I went into that I got frustrated or annoyed. Like I had fun from start to finish with that combat. But here's the thing, Shadow of the Tomb Raider doesn't have a lot of combat in it. Now, Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, because you're farther than I am, but you're 8 hours in. Is that still the case?
Correct. And so for me personally, I love the combat. I'm more of a combat person. I'm not big on puzzles. I'm not that bright. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know where Alaina gets it from, but not from me. Not from her mom either, but I digress.
So running with it. Yes.
So when I get into a tomb and I start to do puzzles, and I like them, they're not. I mean, it's not like it's a bad thing, but if we had a game that was almost all combat, like if there would be a mode where it was just straight combat, they drop you in, you have to clear sections out. Oh my God, I'd be in heaven. So yeah, unfortunately, 8 hours in, it feels like there's a lot more exploration and grabbing stuff and picking up things, and which I don't have a problem with, but I would want more combat versus the former.
Yeah, and it's crazy too because they marketed this game as like Lara Croft's like stealthing around, just putting mud on her face and crawling around like fucking Rambo and stuff in the forest. And it's like, yeah, man, that's cool. I can't wait to take people out like that. And then just it's like, those are pretty few and far between. The combat again, it's still real good.
I'm gonna say, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but when the combat happens, is it still good?
Yes.
Oh, it's amazing.
That almost makes it worse, though.
Yeah, I was gonna say that almost makes it worse. It's like, It seems like Crystal Dynamics took a lot of the criticism to heart, though, because that was the main criticism I remember from the first two games was it's Tomb Raider. So where are the tomb raiding parts? Yeah. And they put such a focus on combat. It sounds, I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but it sounds like they scaled it way back off the combat and towards the
They did. So you remember the challenge tombs from the last game?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They have a lot more of those now. Most
are they non-optional? Because they were all optional.
They are. They're still optional.
Okay.
Yep.
You can skip them.
Yep. I like to play them. They're pretty fun to me.
Yep.
The most of the places that you go that connect point A to point B in the story, I mean, it's still like quasi open world. You know, you still have a map and you can swap between little bonfires and stuff like that. That's all still here. But most of the segments that push you from point A to point B in the story are mostly platforming and puzzle solving. Yep. Now, you can tailor the difficulty in this game. So you can change the combat difficulty, the puzzle difficulty, and the exploration difficulty independent from each other.
Yep.
Which is really cool. So if you if you suck at puzzles and you love combat, you can raise the level of the difficulty in the combat and lower them in the puzzles.
Wow.
I have combat on hard. I left I almost put puzzles to easy, but I left it on normal because I didn't want to feel like that guy.
Yeah, I'm totally that guy, dude. I put fucking everything on easy.
Coming down the line because
I put everything on easy, no fucks given. I just want to kick back and have fun. I don't give a shit.
Meanwhile, legit, I'm over here just like my brain is breaking. That needs to be an industry standard. That being an option is the coolest thing. Yeah. You can really do that. That's awesome.
It applies to every game, but like Far Cry could do that. The Far Cry series could do that too if it wanted to.
Right? Yeah,
things could, you know. But
that's a great pull. Yeah, I could totally see that in Far Cry for sure.
Yeah, but they I just stuck everything on easy because I just want to have fun. I don't care. You know, I don't play games to be challenged really anymore. I just want to enjoy myself, and that's what I'm doing here. The puzzles so far, like I said, I put them on easy and they're pretty fucking easy. So and I'm like Mike here. Like when I hit puzzles and I get, you know, if it's 5 minutes and I'm stumped, I'm like, fuck it, where's Game Facts? You know, I'm looking it up online.
YouTube, baby.
Yep. So so this game, I have not hit any moment in it where I've gotten like super frustrated or didn't know what to do. Like there's been a couple of them where I'm like, I got to stop and think about it for a second, and then it like clicks with me, and then I move forward. So I do like that you can tailor that. But the fact that the combat is so light, and that's probably my favorite part of it. I like the exploration too, but the combat being scaled back here is kind of a bummer for me. And I know people complained about it, and they gave them what they asked for, but this game got hit harder in review scores than the other two did. So it's like they're damned if they do and damned if they don't. Yeah. And I kind of...
I'm sorry, the reviews are like at 75%. I look at game rankings all the time, and it's like at 75%. That's pretty low for a Tomb Raider game.
Yeah, and I kind of understand why. Like, I'm enjoying it. Like, I'm totally having fun with this game. There's nothing about it that I'm like, oh, this sucks. But I wish there was more combat and there's more engagement in that, because that's what I really enjoyed. I thought the 2013 reboot was the perfect balance between exploration and puzzle solving. Yep. And even Rise of the Tomb Raider was really good at that, and it gave you a little more of the puzzle solving and stuff, but it still kept it really well balanced. And this game, it's the combat segments are few and far between, and I just want more of that stuff. And they give you more stealth tools here. There's a lot of stealth segments in this game, and you can still make the decision as how you want to approach the enemy encounters. So you can totally just go Rambo and kill them all if you want, or you can stealth it out. I feel like the game wants you to take the stealth route because it is much harder to succeed if you don't stealth it. But they still have the option there, but they do favor stealth here. But they give you all these cool tools in the combat to do this stuff, but there's just not enough combat from what I've played so far. And to me, that's kind of a bummer.
Well, that's why they need to put in a horde mode like Gears does. Make a great horde mode.
That would be great.
I'll be cool with it. So hopefully down the line, they could add that. Like, and hopefully they don't make you pay for it, but yeah, add some kind of horde mode down the line, please.
A Raider Royale. You start with 100 Lara Croft.
100 Laura's on an island, yeah. All for different outfits from different eras of Tomb Raider.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why
by
are
the
you
way,
guys coming up with so many good ideas? What the?
Oh yeah. I tried to play with. Yeah, now I get what you. Now I see why you say that, Josh. Because I was trying to play with old school Laura's or Lara's, however it's pronounced, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't. The game was so beautiful that when you put like a PS2 Lara in there, it was like so off-putting. I couldn't do it for more than 30 seconds. I was like, nope.
Yep.
Latest version.
If you played the last two games and they detect that you played them like on your profile, they will unlock legacy Laura skins for you, and they have polygon like Laura from PS1 days on there that you can have as a skin and everything. It's kind of funny, but yeah, I'm like Mike. I can't. I gotta play with the current Tomb Raider. skin.
This one's definitely, it's the next, after I beat Spider-Man, it's the next big game I'm picking up. I'm like you, Josh. I played the 2013 reboot. I want to say I platinumed it on PS3. I got the full 1,000 on Xbox 360, and then I bought them again for PS4 and Xbox One, or no, it was a free download on PS4 1 month, and then I got it for like $5 on Xbox and beat them again on 2 different platforms again.
I bought it on PS3 at launch, and then I bought it for PC, and then I got the definitive edition on PS4. So I bought that game 3 times. Yeah. And then Rise of the Tomb Raider, I bought it on Xbox One when it released because it was exclusive at that time, and then I bought it again on PC. So yes, I'm the same way. I triple dipped on the first one, and I double dipped on the second one. This one, I can tell you right now, I'm not going to double dip on, but I'm definitely happy I own it.
The thing that's crazy is, though, I played them through completion on every platform. It's not like I just bought them like the normal thing of like, oh, I like that game, I'll buy it again, and then never touch it. Like, no. I sat and worked my way through it again 4 separate times, which in today's world just does not happen with me in games at all.
Yeah.
And, man.
I can see why. It's a great game.
Yeah, I'm glad people are sharing my love for these games, because most people are like, man, fuck that, Uncharted's better. So that's usually what you get. But so even with us complaining about the lack of combat, you're still totally down for this?
Yeah, for sure.
And I think you'll enjoy it. If you enjoyed those as much as I did, you will like this, because I'm still very much having fun with it. I really like the game. The story is like nothing that's gonna, nothing to write home about, but it's good enough to keep you engaged. And Jonah's back as like a big player in this one too, and like he plays a much bigger part in this game too. And that's the other thing I wanted to mention before we move on, is that Lara is kind of an asshole in this game.
Yep.
She's not like the big heroine that you would expect from a game like this. Like, she starts off the game doing stupid shit and gets like thousands of people killed because of her arrogance, and like even like the main villain in the game just like, Lord, what the fuck is wrong with you? Wow. I mean, it's that bad. And
well, her intentions are good, but
she
means well, but sometimes they play her really young. Like she seems like she's 21 in this. Like,
she's in her early 20s. Yep.
Yeah, so she comes across that way, and I like that. I like that they took it in that direction.
Yeah, but but stealing a knife that is going to cause the apocalypse, and she's like, fuck, whatever, YOLO, and just takes it anyways. And then like all these people die.
I didn't quite take it that way, but I guess I thought she felt like she had to, because she was worried someone else was going to get it, right?
Yeah, but then even the villain was just like, you do know you just caused the apocalypse, right? She's like, I don't believe that. Yeah, I mean, is that really going to happen? Like, fuck yeah, here comes a tsunami, bitch. It just happened, So and after that, because this is not a big spoiler. This happens in the beginning. This is how they showcase the game when they first announced it too. The tsunami comes in because she pulled this knife and started the apocalypse, kills all these people in this town, and
I mean, hey, we've all had a bad Monday.
Yeah, I mean, been there, done that. Am I right? So Jonah is basically like, hey, let's stay here and let's help all these people that are like in peril or dying because we caused all this. And Laura's just like, no, fuck that. I'm going to this other country. I'm going to go chase this knife down. And he's just like, dude, we got to stay here and save these people. We caused this. And she's like, nope, fuck that. I'm heading out. And it's just moments like that. It's just like, man, Laura, you kind of suck. So she's not very likable in this game.
So I was wondering, because I remember you talking about this on Slack a couple of days ago. I was thinking, is she portrayed as like a Byronic hero? You know what I mean? Like an anti-hero or some shit?
No, she's
just an asshole.
Yeah, she's portrayed as the hero, but like her actions cause bad shit to happen, and her reaction to those bad things just seem like she don't give a shit, and it makes you not like her as much as you would think that a video game hero wants you to, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I didn't take it quite as hard as you. I mean, I get what you're saying, and that makes sense. I don't know how to put it in words the best way, but I don't think she's as bad as you made her seem. I think she was trying to do things the right way, and it went sideways. But you're right. She is, at the end of the day, she's like, well, look, I just need to take care of this. I feel it's my way, and my way is going to work the best, so we're going to do it that way. So I get you. It makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
And meanwhile, Jonah's like, your way just got a ton of people killed, so
maybe not your way.
Yeah,
not your way this time.
Let's try a different way.
By the way, Jonah is straight up friend zoned the entire series. I mean, this poor guy, man. This is like,
Dude.
I know he's thirsty.
We've all been there. I mean,
Yeah. All right. Anyways, let's move on. That's Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
someone's got to draw Thirsty Joda. Like that's got to be.
Get a tattoo.
It might be me. It might be me.
Scooping up seawater and shit in his mouth.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this will work, I guess.
Just carrying around a bucket of salt. Just
yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, thumbs up for us for Shadow of the Tomb Raider, but it's definitely, I think it's, from what I've played so far, it's the worst of the three, but still very much worth playing.
Okay.
All right, so let's move on. Zach, you've been playing more Spider-Man, right?
I have. And
where's yours, sir?
Well, last week, for people that actually heard it, if you're catching up, you'll hear me talking about it. My problem with the series, or with the game that I had last week, was it wasn't a world beating game. What I said was, I expected, from all the reviews I read and from everything that I'd heard leading up to this E3 and forward, was just like, this was going to be the game for me this year that was going to come kick Kratos right in the face and say, get out of my top spot, And
I was never expecting that out of this game, though. I'm surprised.
Just all the reviews were just so hyped, and like I bid in, I usually don't let myself ride the hype train that much, but I was on board. Got the conductor hat. I was there. And yeah, it just wasn't. And I think that was the thing. Like I hadn't gotten over that by the time we recorded last week, that it just wasn't that game for me. And it was way more of an Assassin's Creed game than I was expecting. It had a lot of just like bullshit side quests that I kind of just am sick of in gaming. Why did you have 70 backpacks when you were in high school, Peter Parker? Like, none of this makes sense. But
kept Swift gear in business.
I guess, man. Jeez. him and Jansport were like these, but and going through now, I've come to really appreciate how good of a Spider-Man story this game is.
Yeah, totally.
And I knew it was well written last week when I was talking about it, but I was still very much kind of trapped in the mechanics of the game. But as I'm going through it now and playing more and more, I love just how well written all the characters are, how thought out every storyline is. I like the liberties they take, but I like that it's not the comic book. I actually do, the changes they made with like Mary Jane and Aunt May and these staple characters, but they make them fit the game better, and they're smart choices and they're well executed. And I think that was the part I was missing prior, was just the incredible high level of execution they did to the, I guess, the not game part. The story, the character, the world building, all of that is just top notch in this game. And it's rare you find a game the more you play, the better that gets. Usually it's like, we're going to open with a great story and then kind of forget that story's happening for 20 hours while we go have you do other stuff. And then, oh, hey, look, the story's back. Where this one, I feel like they keep building the story throughout the whole process. And the way that taking Fisk down spirals everything out. And even though Fisk tells you right when you do it, he's like, wait a month and you'll be begging for me to get out of prison, and you see all of that kind of come to pass. And it's really, really good. I mean, it still isn't at that top spot for me for the year, but it is a way better game than I was giving it credit for.
Oh, thank you. I was about to rip into you. Sorry, go ahead.
It kind of sounds like it plays out like a movie, though. I mean, that sounds like how the writing is, and I think that's why it hits so close to home.
I said last week that it's a better Spider-Man movie than all the Spider-Man movies combined.
Mm-hmm.
What I've seen.
And you're right. Yeah.
It's really good.
Yep.
I will say that I sorry to cut you off, but I will say that I much prefer this game over Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. No, my main gripe right now is just the side quest. It's the Assassin's
I love them.
Okay, so hold on. Well, let me jump in. So when you say side quests, are you talking like the taskmaster challenges? Because I thought the actual side quests, when the blue diamond thing came up, those were fun. I thought they were varied. I thought they were interesting. They kind of went along with the story. Now I get going into each section and fighting crime and doing that. That could get monotonous, but I thought the combat was so good that even that was fun. But yes, the taskmaster challenges where you got to get the 3 stars on everything. That to me was a little much. But I think, they were filling it. They wanted to give you your 50 hours, try to get you to that, so now back to my point. So was it just the taskmaster that you had issues with, or did you have issues with everything?
No, it was kind of all of that. That was a more egregious example. Sure. But my issue really is when your story is that good, I feel like I've got to just knock all this stuff out to get to what the good part is.
And sometimes they force you to, like, hey, you got to explore the city and then we'll kick into the next mission.
And it was just one of those things for me. It's like, just let me play the part I want, which is this amazing story. Like I almost wish all that stuff had unlocked after the story in like a New Game Plus mode or something. Like, they could have just given me like a nice tight 8-hour game and then and your 50-hour games and then your New Game Plus, or something like that. Like that would have been cool. But I mean, I get the choices they made. It's like you said, they wanted to make it worth your money, and I understand that. But it's just the part I love isn't that part,
So on these, I thought the combat was so good that made the side stuff worth it to me. The web slinging was so good that I didn't mind going around and getting the backpacks. I understand it's kind of like, what the hell's the point?
I agree.
But
I agree.
It was a way, a means to an end. Like, you want to enjoy the fighting, you want to enjoy the web slinging, and this was the way of delivering that mechanism for me personally. But I get your side. I see I can see that, and I can see maybe doing the main quest, making it linear, and then opening everything up if you want to do it. For me though, I loved it so much that didn't bother me.
And I spent more time doing side shit than I did the story stuff for me.
Same.
And Mike, you have a very good point there. Now that I'm thinking about what you're saying, all of that side quest does. By the time you hit these story beats, you are very good at combat. You have done this a lot. You have gotten those combinations down. Everything. You've unlocked a bunch of stuff that helps you. Okay. I think you've got a valid point there.
Well, no, and I understand your side too. How would they change it for the people who maybe someone doesn't have 50 hours to give? Maybe they need that tight 10 to 12, like the order, that type of game where it's very linear and very get you to what you need to do, and you enjoy the shit. At least me personally, enjoy the shit out of it doing it. But when you're in open world and you want to open that stuff up, but I get what you're saying. How would they deliver it though? How would they give you the ability to do that and still be able to pull off what you need to fight all these cool villains and beat them? You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I think you're right. I mean, that's about completely valid point.
And I think what you're asking isn't really the case. Like, I don't think you have to put 50 hours in this game in order to beat it. Like, you can beat it in like 15 hours if you really wanted to. I just get sidetracked by the shit, and I just want to do it because I love swinging around the city and finding stuff. That's to me is the best part of the game, is just swinging around and checking shit out. And the game's so fucking detailed that I'm seeing cool stuff all the time.
Fist bumping citizens.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. He's walking around and be like, hey, high five. And it's so cool. And I love that part. And then to me, the combat is good, but not great. But it totally works for me.
Sorry. So when you say good, not great, so I assume you played the Batman games?
Yes.
Okay. So it's very riffy on that, correct?
It is, but not to the point that I would like it to be. I would like it to be a bit more like Arkham, because it feels a bit more loose, and it's probably just because it's Spider-Man. But I would like, to me, the combat in the Batman games and in like Shadow of Mordor, Shadow of War, to me that this felt much better to me than this game did.
That being said,
like it more like that.
That being said, webbing up a trash can, swinging it around into someone's face rules every time.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't quit doing that. That was my go-to move. I would hit people with stuff. That's just I couldn't stop. That was like, and the web blossom. The web blossom was so OP, and I wanted to try, and I tried everything, but I kept going back to that, because when you get in the heat of the battle and you pump that thing and you just tie everyone up or web sling them up against the wall, 5 people, 10 people at a time. Oh my God, to me it was utopia. So
yeah, I think I was a counter system is what I was really missing here, because like when your Spidey sense goes off and you hit the circle button to dodge, like I'm used to those other games where you just grab the dude's fucking arm and just punch him right in the damn gut, and like I wanted like some kind of.
But that's not how Spidey fights, though. That's a Batman movie.
I know, and to me, it's just a me thing. It totally makes sense in the world of Spider-Man, and I understand why they did it. But to me, it's just like I keep wanting to play it like it's Batman Arkham Asylum. And then that's the only reason why I don't love the combat. I like it, but I don't love the combat because I wish it was this, but it's this.
Yep. See, with Batman, I love Batman too, but the way they set it up where you have to get so many hits in a row before you really not have to, but you really are trying to chain stuff together. And I just wasn't very good at that. I mean, I did okay, but I wasn't anything where you counter or stealth. I'm more like Rambo. I'm just going to keep punching you until you go down type thing. So if you have to counter or be stealthy, that's not my forte. So I love the Batman games. Don't get me wrong. I love the combat. And really, if you put a gun to my head and said, pick which one combat wise you like better, I don't know. They're just different. So, I'd have to really sit there and think about it. But I thought for what Spidey is, and you're right, it is looser for sure. But I think that's inherent to what he is and what Spider-Man does and how he engages enemies. So how do you really get around that?
Yeah, no, it makes sense. It's just a me thing. It's me.
Okay. I'll blame you.
All right.
No, I'm joking.
Zach, you got anything else to add, man?
No, I just it's the time of year where, as much as I'm enjoying my time with Spider-Man, I'm anxiously trying to wrap it up fast because I want to play Tomb Raider next, and like there's all this stuff coming down the pipe that I want to get through. So it's probably going to be on its way out pretty soon. But I am enjoying my time with it. But
are you skipping this? I mean, Josh, I didn't do it, so I'm not 100% sure. But can't you skip a lot of that and just move forward through the story, or are you kind of forced into it?
It's funny you say that. I've gotten to the point now where I'm pretty much only doing the side stuff if the story requires it.
Okay.
It's one of those things where it's an annoying experience when the stuff's popping off all around you and you just kind of like, nope, keep going.
I would be like, squirrel.
Yeah, exactly.
I hate having icons on my map. I want that shit cleared off.
Yeah. And that's totally how it is. Like when it's like, my gamer brain from decades of doing this is just like, oh, I need to go do that, and I need to go do that, and I need to go over there. It's just,
Got it. Cool. All right, so moving on. Did any of you guys play the Forza Horizon 4 demo?
I have it downloaded, but I have not played it.
I haven't played it yet either.
So I downloaded it, and I played it for maybe 15-20 minutes, and I uninstalled it.
Whoa!
Yeah, because I knew instantly that I was sold on this game.
Oh, okay.
You truly are.
Yeah, that was a bad setup. I was like, wow.
Yeah, that 15-20 minutes I played, I'm just like, fuck, I don't want to play any more of this because I don't want any more of it spoiled for me.
I don't want it to stop.
I want to go into this fresh. I've played enough. This game's fucking awesome. I'm good. This game was phenomenal looking in 4K. They give you the option so you can play it in 1080p 60 frames per second, or you can play it in 4K 30 frames per second. To me, these games feel fine in 30 frames, so that's the way I chose to play it. I do know they say that the response times of the controls are much better in the 60 frame mode, so I will give that a shot when the full version comes out and see if I have a preference. But guys, I mean, it's Forza Horizon 3, but significantly better.
Now how? I mean, 3 I only put about maybe 15 hours into 3, but I even bought a steering wheel for it that's collecting dust, my Thrustmaster that I still haven't even, I can't wait to pop that in and play it. But I mean, how's it better?
To me, the cars seem to respond. The controls seem better. The changing seasons add a more dynamic because the way the cars handle and the way you race changes depending on the season. Like when you start hitting snow, like shit changes on you, So it kind of changes things up, and it's not just, hey, I got to go to another race on the street, Like they change it up more and give you more of different environments to race in that change up the gameplay quite a bit. Just the graphics look much sharper. I love the environment more here than I did in Australia. Just the integration of the data that they use now, like there's more actual like real player stuff going on, like in the open world, than like sort of the pseudo. What am I thinking of here? They just like throw people like cars on the street with like your friends' gamer tags over them. They're like, yeah, like, hey, go race this guy. Like, that motherfucker has never touched a Forza game in my life. What the hell is he doing on the road? You know, and this game does that too, but they don't make it feel so fake as much as the last one did. And I saw that right from the start. I mean, I want this game now. I want it now. And I'm not even a racing game guy at all. And I loved Forza Horizon 3 so much that this game, like, I'm probably going to go all in on that $100 edition. That's how much I like this.
Wow.
Holy cow.
Then you should get a steering wheel too then.
Yeah, I probably should. Like, I wanna play 4 days early. I want the expansions because there were some dope expansions for Forza Horizon 3. That Hot Wheels shit was.
Oh yeah, Hot Wheels was so fun.
Well, it's funny because all of us have little boys in our lives, and man, my son, when that Hot Wheels thing hit, I played it with him for a month straight. Like every day, he just wanted to see that Hot Wheels thing over and over.
And if that's what they created for that game, can you imagine the shit they're going to pull off on this one?
Yeah,
I
hope they bring Hot Wheels back. That thing was rad.
They got something cool up their sleeves. I mean, they do. So I'm probably going to buy the fucking expansions anyways, and you get all that shit in that $100 edition. Plus, you get any car editions that they have that they sell for premium price. Like, you get all those included. Like, they give you the whole shebang. And with Best Buy, I still have Gamers Club unlocked left until February. You get $20 knocked off that bad boy through that, so it's only $80. Like, I'm fucking sold. Like, I'm buying that.
When's it released? November?
If you get the Ultimate Edition, it's September 28th, I believe. So it's the end of the month.
October 28th?
No,
the
September.
end of the month?
And this month. Yeah, it comes out like October 2nd or something like that.
No, that'll get in the way of my Assassin's Creed. I don't know, man.
Yeah, it comes out same week. I fuck Assassin's Creed. I'm getting this. I don't care.
I'm getting them both, but I'm trying to figure out in my head. You know, I'm unemployed right now, so I'm thinking, okay, that'll work. I can put about 12 hours in this day, 12 hours in that day.
Yeah. This role reversal makes me so mad.
Yeah.
He's got that fun employment working.
Yeah. Take my job. Take it.
Assassin's Creed to me is like because I never finished Origin. I really liked Origin, but I didn't finish it. So this is more of like a, hey, you can get me this for Christmas kind of thing. I don't know if I'll buy that day one.
Okay, fair enough.
All right, so Alaina, you got Mario Aces going on, right? Tennis?
Yeah.
Exactly,
right? I keep calling it Mario Aces Tennis, and it's like Mario Tennis Aces, and I'm like, dude, just
I keep thinking there's a super in there somewhere. There's no super in there.
Oh man, so I know some of you guys have played this, so I wanted to kind of talk to you about it, pick your brain a little bit, because it seems kind of like a mixed bag for me. I think, expecting and hoping for something a little bit different, maybe something a little less Nintendo, because that's the vibe I got when obviously clearly it's a Nintendo game, but when I was playing it, I was expecting something a little more realistic, like Virtua Tennis or something like that, you know.
Okay.
And
no, never.
I know
not enough grunts during hits.
Okay, I love Virtual Tennis. Come on now.
Oh, dude, I wanted it to be more like that. So I got like, Mario Tennis Party or like Mario Tennis Fighter instead of like actual Mario Tennis. And I don't know how to feel about it. And I
wanted Mario Tennis RPG. That's what I was expecting out of this. Because Camelot, the company who made this game, they made one for the Game Boy Advance that was like that. And it was super cool. And if you want that experience now, you got to get Golf Story on the Switch. Because basically what that is, and it's really cool. But I thought that was going to have some kind of like little essence of that thrown in this game, and it doesn't. And I think this game's poop myself.
Yeah, I've noticed people either like it a lot or they're not really into it, and I'm definitely the latter, because I started with the adventure mode, basically their story mode, and I jumped ship pretty quickly because what I experienced was it's tedious, it's boring, it's
frustrating.
It forces me to participate in tutorials of like game mechanics to progress like the plot, and I'm just sitting here like, Nintendo, you're really sticking it to me, huh? Like, we really have to dance this dance for me to play the adventure mode of this game, huh? So, I mean, I heard through the grapevine that this was actually the first iteration of Mario Tennis that even had like an adventure story mode of some sort, but I'm not really having it, like the plot itself is cute and it's very Nintendo. Like Luigi basically gets brainwashed by like a sentient tennis racket, and you have to go get the 5 power stones and just channel your inner like Marvel superhero or some shit and go get them. I don't know. But I quickly jumped ship with that and went to tournament mode, which is also, in my opinion, pretty bare bones. And I was upset to not see something similar to what they have. I think maybe my fault is like, my problem is going into this with too many expectations, because for the tournament mode, at the very least, I was expecting something reminiscent of Mario Kart. And I understand Mario Kart and Mario Tennis, 2 different games, but you know how with Mario Kart, they had the 50, 100, 150cc difficulty modes. There's nothing like that in tournament mode for this game. And I'm just sitting here like, well, okay, once I beat this and once I beat adventure mode, like what's left? Online play and, playing with my friends when they stop by the house. Is that really it? And I mean, the online play, I was actually able to play earlier today. I'm assuming I won't be able to play
anymore.
now. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, not now. But it's simple and it's effective. But I don't know how they determine skill, because every person I played against beat my ass, and I was again like,
it's that super
Nintendo.
It's
what do you mean?
Super shit. Like the hulking out, like doing super crazy shit that you can't dodge very well, and like it's. I get frustrated with that shit.
Yeah, man. So for me personally, my favorite mode to play in this game is basically 1v1 with somebody in the room. Like I played with my boyfriend when we first got it, and it was immensely more fun than any other mode I played. And I really think that's where this game shines. And realistically, the only reason I'll probably pick it up again in the future, because I like tennis games. I was actually really excited to play this, but once I started, getting a little deeper, I was like, wow. I guess I'm probably not going to pick this up. You know what I mean? Now, bear in mind, I didn't put a lot of time into it. And I probably will put a little bit more in before I, set it down for good. But the thing that really stuck with me is they were advertising this racket mode, with where you can use the remote to actually, or the controller to actually,
like Wii style.
That shit sucks, dude. And don't tell me it's good when it doesn't work. Like, you basically, if you want to win the match, don't do it, and why else are you playing the game? So it's kind of finicky.
Can one person use the motion controls and the other player don't?
I didn't try that. I have no idea. So
if I don't use the motion controls.
That'd be a fat handicap, man, because I couldn't do shit when I was using the racket mode. Like, it just wasn't responsive. It wasn't what I wanted it to be, and I think that's just this entire game in a nutshell. So I understand why, you felt the way you did about this game, because it's just
racket modes for like nursing homes.
Keep their heart rate up, get them a little active.
Keep grandma active. Helps her osteoporosis and all that.
Gotta flex those arms. No, but I don't know. I haven't played many of the iterations of Mario Tennis, so I don't really have a basis for comparison. But I kind of wanted to pick your guys' brain on this. Is this something you're into? Is this something you guys enjoyed? Because I certainly didn't.
I have 5 to 6 hours into it. Fun fact about me: I played tennis in high school and college. I was one of the only kid in high school who was on the football team and on the tennis team. I got made fun of for that, but whatever.
I didn't know you were on the football team.
What's your hit grunt like?
Actually, like most guys, you don't hear us, girl. We don't have one, but we loved watching the girls play because they had lots of them. But so I'm a little more lenient on the. Yeah, I'll let you run with that one.
Yeah.
So I'm a little more lenient as far as I enjoy the game, but I get. I am a tad disappointed at it. A lot of times if you're playing someone, it's hit as many unique shots as you can to build up to get your smash, and whoever gets that smash shot in first is going to win. So
bingo. That's why I don't like it.
Yeah, exactly.
I get that. So I don't play online because I get smoked. Those guys or gals are putting in tons of time, and I don't. So I tried it once and was like, yeah, I know better. The core game itself is fun. I love virtual tennis. I love not hot shots. I can't remember the name of it. But I love tennis games. I love them, especially good ones. Now, bad ones, for the most part, I'll stay away from. I think this one's kind of in the middle. There's enough there to play and enjoy.
You're thinking Top Spin.
Top Spin 3.
Top Spin 3 especially is one of my favorite of all times. Thank you.
Yep. Those are good.
It was driving me crazy too. So I'm like, shit, what is that game?
Yeah, I let you do it because I kept talking and I can't. Multitasking's not my thing. So
Gotcha.
So I enjoy the game, but I get the critiques on it. It's definitely not one of Mario's first party games that's gonna get you the great scores that all the other ones tend to. And you're right, Golf Story is a lot better as far as if you want that RPG element. So you got to know what you're getting into going in. Don't buy it if you think if you're looking, because there was a Mario Tennis version. I can't remember on what system. Back in the day, maybe the GameCube, or I'm sorry, the other handheld one before the 3DS. Game Boy Advance. Yeah, I think there was a really good RPG version on there that I really enjoyed.
I still own it. It's a great game.
Great game. This is nothing like that. And if you're trying to compare it to that, then you're going to be highly disappointed. I think there's some fun in there to be had, but yes, you have to, like I said, I'm a little bit of an easier score because I love tennis games overall. So give me something to play.
Gotcha.
Yeah, man, that's what I wanted too, and it didn't happen for me. And I went into it, I think, with the wrong mentality, and because of it, I can't enjoy the game to its full capacity.
I get the critique. I get that both you, Josh and Alaina, both of your critiques are spot on, and I totally get it. And if you're looking for something like that, you're going to be highly disappointed. So for sure.
Yeah, maybe with the update coming tomorrow, I can play as Birdo and I'll care more all of a sudden. There's a co-op challenge that's coming out tomorrow as well. So there's some new characters, and then I
heard about that. Yeah, 4 new characters.
But you have to pay for exactly. I think it's like Shy Guy, the Piranha Guy, and then one of the Paratroopa Koopas.
Petey Piranha,
yeah. The Piranha
he doesn't even
guy.
have a tennis racket. He just uses his little flipper.
He uses his leaf. Yeah. I thought that was
odd.
sick. But to get the co-op challenge, you basically have to pay for the online service, right? Like.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
we're here now. We're here. It's time. All right. I need to accept it.
Well, you get a 7-day trial, but you have to put your credit card in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which means they're going to charge my credit card after
Lane,
7 days.
Lane, I'm getting the family one. I got it. It's just I haven't done it yet. So
yeah,
and then we'll figure out how to go about.
I'm 2 of 8.
Yeah, exactly. I want to see if I can get more than that. So we'll figure it out.
Everybody
but
jump on it.
We'll do that tomorrow because I'm getting a Splatoon itch anyway. So that needs to be scratched.
Oh man, I miss that game so much. I wish I was better at it.
Yeah, me
I'll
too.
have Logan. I'll have my nephew. Oh, you bastard! I'll have Logan and you teach me how to play better, man. Because I
had more fun dressing up my little squid character in that game than I did anything.
Oh, I love it.
I want to beat the DLC, but I hear it's mad difficult.
And we're back to Final Fantasy 12 X2. Dress up in characters.
Everything comes full circle. No, but other than that, man, I've been playing some of the SNES. I do kind of want to talk next week. I not so much this week because I want to delve into these games a little bit more. Secret of Mana and Final Fantasy 3. I'm playing back to back, and I definitely want to get some more time in before I talk about it. But it's pretty interesting playing those 2 games simultaneously because they both came out around the same time. So I'll have a lot more to say about that next week, though.
Cool beans.
Yeah.
Let's move on to our week in review. So I want to talk a little bit about this iPhone launch that's coming out Friday. So for those who don't know, which there's probably not many of you because it's been all over the news, Apple announced their latest iPhone. It is the iPhone XS, and then they have the XS Max, which is a really odd name for a phone. But and then they're going to have the XR as well coming out next month, which is the cheaper version of the XS, more or less. And they do this every year. So this isn't anything new. They announced a new watch as well, which I'm drooling over because my watch has a big crack in it. But there's been a lot of talk about the price of this thing because the XS, which is like their flagship iPhone, is $1,000. Last year's X was $1,000 as well. But now I see people freaking out about it even more so than they did last year. And there's like these phone wars going on right now where people are trying to tell you that if you spend $1,000 on a cell phone that you aren't doing it right and that you can go buy a $200 phone and do the exact same thing and blah, 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 all this shit. So I want to know what you guys feel about this new iPhone.
I would reply with that. No. You can go spend $200 on a piece of shit Motorola phone and have fun with it. I will never tell you made a bad choice once about your phone purchase, even though it's a piece of shit.
Whoever said that it was $200, like, nah, son, like that's not how phones work. Like you're paying $1,000 for a phone because you're getting $1,000 of quality hardware, software, OS, et cetera, et cetera. Now I have mixed feelings about iPhone, and I specifically stayed away from this because I just bought, a Google Pixel XL, so I'm fighting that fight right now. But I don't agree with that mentality at all. And also, bitch, it's my money. It's my money.
There
I
it
can
is.
spend
There
it
it is.
however I want. I work hard. I can spend my money how I want.
Well, I feel like a lot of people are just acting like folks are walking into the Apple store and just making it rain, money and coming out with all this shit. Like most people who are buying this iPhone are getting it on a payment plan through their carrier. That's how I'm doing it. That's how I can afford it. I pay them $30 a month for it, and there we go. That's how I do. I was paying the same price for my old iPhone that I paid off like 3 or 4 months ago, and that phone's like super old now. It's like it's over 3 years old, and it's starting to show. So I pre-ordered one. I pre-ordered an XS. I'm getting it Friday. I'm not getting the Max one. I don't need one that big. So I'm pretty excited about it. But the amount of shit that I've got for this.
Wait, you personally have gotten shit for this?
Oh yeah, I've had people tell me like, "Why do you need to spend that much on a phone? Why can't you just keep the one I have?" Well, the one I have has a shitty fingerprint reader on it. Like my Touch ID doesn't work very well anymore.
Why do you feel the need to justify anything? I mean,
yeah, I can do what I want. Like,
I'm not an iPhone guy myself. I mean, I don't. But hey, they're great at getting people to buy their stuff. I'm more Android and Samsung. But hey, it's a personal choice, and I'm still going to spend my money on, what I want. I don't get how people would be like, well, why would you want to do that? It's like, why would you want to ask that? I don't get it.
Yeah, like why would you care in any way how I spend my money? Like,
a lot of people feel like iPhones are a status thing.
Partially. I mean, let's not lie here.
Well, for some people, but not everyone. I mean,
yeah, it
that's not
depends
why
on the
I
person.
buy an iPhone. I don't buy an iPhone because I want people to see it in my hand. I buy iPhones because I literally believe that they're the best smartphone you can buy on the market. I like the OS better than Android. I like the way they update their system. I mean, their OS every year, and every phone gets it. That's still fairly modern. I mean, there's phones that are 5-6 years old that are still getting iOS 12. I mean, like they support their phones for a long time. It's got the best app support. It's got the best accessories support. Like it's just what I prefer. And that's why I buy it. I don't give a fuck who sees it in my hand. That's not why I'm owning one. So the amount of crap that I've gotten, and not just me, just seeing people who are buying these like online on message boards and stuff like that are just getting so much shit for it. I just thought it was kind of weird.
One of my biggest criticisms, though, and I do understand why people are kind of jumping down, the people who say this, they're kind of jumping down their throat. It's people joking, not really joking on Twitter about how they're not going to be able to afford, food for the next month, or they're going to be eating cup ramen noodles for the next, 2 years. And I understand they're being facetious, but or sarcastic, but there's some sense of sincerity in that. And if you're going without food to buy an iPhone, it is a status symbol for you. You know what I mean? And I know you're on the completely opposite side of the spectrum. You're buying this phone because you think it's, the best phone on the market. But I do know people who are buying this phone simply because it's the newest iteration and are like joking about how they're not going to be able to pay bills. And I'm like, then don't buy the phone.
But see, I'm with your dad on this one. Great. Don't eat then. I don't give a fuck. Like,
I mean,
you made your choice. Like, oh, I'm not going to be able to. Okay, great. Guess you have a phone you can sell if you need to. What the fuck do I care? Like, you're
you have to hear about them complaining at work the next day when they can't.
Well, then they're gonna have to put up with me calling them a dumbass. But it's like I'm not going to sit here and like judge them for it. Like, who cares?
Yeah, I've seen the argument that people have had with these, that you should not own one of these iPhones if you don't make above this certain amount of money a year. If I read someone literally say that if you live with your parents, you should not own one of these iPhones. Like there's people out there that to me just don't want to see people that aren't wealthy have nice things.
Well, it's also one of the things is they can't personally afford it. So
maybe it's a salt tray. Yeah, maybe it's just a salt machine.
Yeah, I'm just gonna like
play devil's advocate though. Could you really think 10 years ago we'd be thinking, oh man, I'm gonna go buy a phone that costs more than my laptop? So I mean, I get the other side, but at the end of the day, who cares? I mean, you do what you want.
Which is fair, but at the same time, I wouldn't have also said 10 years ago that I would use my laptop one day a week and I'd use my phone every single day.
Yep. Your phone for that. It cuts both ways for sure.
Yeah.
And whoever was complaining that if you live with your parents, you shouldn't own an iPhone has no concept of like where the American economy is at this point in time. Because I mean, come on, man. Like, let's just be realistic here. Like, I was only fortunate enough to move out of my dad's house based on luck and like happenstance and networking. You know what I mean? So I don't like that argument. That kind of puts a bad taste in my mouth. But
it's the perfect time. If you're living for free, that's the perfect time to buy
it. Right?
You did have a nice phone. You ain't got bills.
Right. But also that's someone that doesn't, live in the Bay Area. For sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Animal. Yep.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, just I kind of, echo Zach's sentiment, which is just like, do your own fucking thing, bro. Like, just enjoy your life. And like, if you want to buy your phone, buy your phone. If you don't want to get food, whatever, do your thing. It's just
trolls are everywhere. I mean,
just don't shit on other people. Like the end,
Yeah. I mean, I've seen these launches every single year, with these phones, and I've never seen the backlash as high as they are now. And I understand these are the most these phones have cost, but people are spending the money. Like, why would Apple not do this if people are buying them?
Well, maybe it's because it hit the $1,000 threshold, that magical number, and now people are seeing 4 digits.
Well, the Samsung Galaxy Note 9's $1,000, and they have a higher end version that's $1,200, and no one was giving them shit.
That's what I wanted to say too. There's no backlash.
I wouldn't say no one. I just don't think it's as sorry, Lane. I don't think it's as much as. But trust me, it does it at Samsung too. But Apple's a $1 trillion company. Samsung isn't yet. So, especially in the U.S., Apple is, it's a different animal, even more so than Samsung. So I think people kind of put that in with it, and that's how I'm not saying they're right. I just say I see how they get there. But at the end of the day, they're still trolling. I mean, really, it's what it is.
Yeah, the smartphone is a very important tool in my life. Like, I work IT in a hospital. Like, that thing is very important to me, like, throughout my daily adventure. I need it when people are trying to get a hold of me to fix something in the hospital. Like, it just pops up on my phone and I just go over. Every time I get tickets, it pops up on my phone. I just take care of it. Like, I'm roaming around all day, and outside of work, it's a very important part of my life as well. So to me, $1,000 to have the best smartphone that I can get for as much as I use it is worth it to me, especially if I'm not just dropping it all out at once. Like, it's just part of my phone bill. Like, fucking who cares, Yep. I kind of compare this to like cars. Like, of course you can say, why would you buy a BMW if you could buy a fucking Geo Metro? It's got 4 wheels and a steering wheel. It gets you from point A to point B. Why would you do that? Yeah, you can make that argument, but there's people that care about their vehicle more than they do their smartphone. And for some people, the driving experience that a higher priced car gives you is more important to them. And then there's going to be people that a $200 shitty smartphone that will let them check their email and post a picture on Instagram is all they need. And they're not going to care about it as much as someone who is a power user on a smartphone like I am. So it's obviously I'm not going to go out and buy a BMW because I'm not a car guy. I'm cool. I literally just bought like one of the cheapest SUVs that you can buy on the market because I just wanted an SUV, and I'm not going to go out and spend crazy amounts of money because I'm not a car person, but I am a tech person. But
you're also not going to go to that person who does and say, hey, why are you buying this car when you can buy this cheaper car?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't give a shit what car you buy,
Yep.
It's just to me, the technology and the type of item it is means more to me than it does some people. And I feel like the people that these phones don't really cater to as much are the ones that are shitting on people the most.
Yep.
It's, if you're sitting around really worried about how someone else is spending their money or dating or sleeping with or whatever, if you sit around and have to comment on strangers' actions, grown-ass adults' choices, do something else with your fucking life, man. Like, you've made bad choices. You obviously don't have enough to do. So
I have a list of hobbies you can pick up, man. Like, I have a list of things that I know you'd enjoy trying at least once. Go do them. Like, please.
If they have the time to do that, they probably don't have a job that would pay for the phone. So, it all ties together.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
But we get really in depth in regards to this, man.
Just getting heated over here over an iPhone,
right?
But yeah, I'm excited to get the phone though, man. Like,
I want to hear about it next week, man.
I have an iPhone 6S Plus, and that I bought that thing the year my son was born, and my son's almost 4 years old. So
you go longer than most, so you definitely deserve it.
Yeah, I don't buy a phone every year. No,
I usually do it like once every two or three.
I go 2 years usually.
Yeah, I do too. Also,
yeah, normally I do too. This is the longest I've had a phone.
Damn, good on you, Josh. That's gonna make you getting this in the mail or getting this when it's gonna be great.
So the XS is actually a pretty big upgrade for me. And I'm tired of the Touch ID shit, because I loved it at first, but now like it doesn't work half as well as it used to. For some reason, I've even redone my fingerprints, and I just want to look at the fucking thing and it just open up. Like that's what that does it for me. So I'm excited for it, but I'm giving my mom my excess. Not my excess. No, that's mine. The 6S Plus. My mom's rocking an iPhone SE, like a little,
Oh, I just got rid of mine. I love that thing. That was like a little. Oh man, it was a very nice phone for what.
Well,
it
my
was.
mom's got bad eyesight, and she wants a bigger phone to see. So I'm just gonna give her my 6S Plus, and then I'm just gonna toss her SE in a drawer in case someone's phone breaks. I'll have a backup or something. So
smart man.
That also makes a great Pokemon machine for your son. Just speaking.
Oh, that's how he's doing it. I see. He's a higher level than me, and he's like half my age. Wait, he's way more.
I'm not sure about your math. I know your degree is
fuzzy math. It's a girl. Fuzzy math.
Shut up.
I saw your report cards. I know.
Oh, we're getting too deep. All right, what's going on now? What are we doing?
You're like, so we're wrapping the show up, right? This is about it.
I'm sleepy.
Yeah. It's 9 o'clock. You know where your kids are.
All
right, Alaina, what you got this week?
Oh man, my dad put me in a bad mood talking about my report card. And
You're welcome.
She's going to reveal the plan of putting dad in a nursing home now.
Why do you think I work in the home care industry? This is my back pocket, man.
Yeah, she's just planning it right now.
Oh nah, dude. You guys are too much. No, I kind of wanted to take the floor to kind of talk about something that I want everybody to try once if they have the opportunity to before they die. And I'm gonna sound like a hippie for saying this, but y'all should really go to a farmer's market at least once. Like
that's not what I was expecting. I was expecting ecstasy or something.
Oh
but,
no, smoking the weed. No, we have local farmers markets all around here, and I didn't go. I'm a homebody, man. I don't get outside of my house. But once I started living on my own, I was like, all right, I need to figure out a way to eat healthier. And what I'm paying at the grocery store is just not working out. So I also have a severe cherry tomato addiction that cannot be stopped, and like Safeway just isn't cutting it for me anymore. So if you guys ever have an opportunity, I know some people live in more rural parts of the states, or maybe even outside of the states. But if you ever have a chance to, just a couple of dollars, you're really helping people out. You have an opportunity to build relationships, and more than anything else, I mean, outside of the cost just being ridiculously cheap, like the produce I've eaten from these farmers markets since I've started going over the last couple of months is just light years better. I can't even really put it into words. So I just want to use this as an opportunity to just be like, dude, just try it once, just go. You don't need more than $5 or $6 to get a buttload of fruits, a buttload of vegetables, and as many cherry tomatoes as you can physically grab. It's amazing. It's amazing, you guys.
Cool.
But
good to know. Maybe I'll try one.
Yeah, dude, you should
they're
come
everywhere
with me.
in Ohio.
Yeah. Oh, are they really?
One I just started one like 3 blocks away from my house every Sunday, and the nectarines, they're out of this freaking world.
That's what I'm saying, man. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So that's where I go to get my nectarines and my cherry tomatoes and my peaches and all sorts of stuff.
I usually like to go to the farmers markets to get like corn on the cob, like actual ears of corn. So
yeah. Those are dirt cheap too. You can pay like 20 cents or some shit rather than the $1 you're spending elsewhere, and it just tastes way better. But no, man, outside of that, just, the older I get, the more I'm making like larger purchases. And unfortunately, some of those larger purchases aren't really panning out. So I'm just doing my best to make lemons out of couchless lemonade. Like, it's awful, y'all. So I've lived with my significant other since April, and him and I have been trying to buy furniture slowly but surely. And all we've really gotten is a desk for me that he's now using and a chair for myself that I don't really want to use anymore. Y'all, I got some back problems and my back hurts, but I want this couch, man. We went to buy it and we were told we'd be able to pick it up September 1st, which is my birthday. So we spent the time, got the truck, we were ready to go. We were dicking around, waiting. We finally called around 5 p.m. And long story short, the couch isn't even being made anymore. It's been discontinued. And yeah, I got straight trolled, man. That guy was just trying to make some commission, it sounds like. So apparently they only have a couple left in existence in stock, and we'll be able to pick it up by November 1st, 2 months after we originally made this purchase. So
damn.
And how much is it getting discounted?
That's what I'm talking about. So I am bad at this. And we basically went, we both agreed. I should have brought him too. I totally should have. I was
you gotta let him learn.
Shit, call me. I would have been Alaina for a day. Like, trust me, you would have gotten it highly discounted or all your money back.
I'm usually really good at shit like this, but it's when it comes to face-to-face interaction, especially when I'm with Brian, my boyfriend, where I'm just like, man, I can't bring the bitch out this hard right now because like this person in front of me doesn't have anything to do with the fact that I'm getting screwed over. So he basically was like, yeah, we can't give you a discount. We can give you a refund without the restocking fee. And I was like, no, fuck that. Like, I should get that regardless. And then they were like, you know what? Why don't we give you a free delivery? And I was like, is it pre-assembled? And they were like, yeah, and we'll bring it to you on a weekend. It costs $150. And I was like, all right. You know, so I was like, I was so dead set. We were so dead set on getting at least, 10, 15%, something like that, And then I go in there and I get a sweet sounding somebody who's like, oh, we can do this and that's all we can do. Sorry. And I'm like, you got it, Buster. I know you got a hard life. I'm going to get out of here. And I totally settled, dude. Like I totally settled.
Tell the wife and kids I said hi.
God damn it, man. It just sucks. It sucks. Like
I'm the same way, Alaina. My wife is very like if we go somewhere and we get bad service, my wife will stand up and she will throw a fit, and she will make it known that she is not happy. For me, I don't like confrontation. I don't start a bunch of shit. For me, I vote with my wallet. If I go somewhere and they treat me like shit, I don't come back. That's
exactly.
I might leave a Yelp review. That's about all you're going to get out of me.
Like I'm not gonna yell at someone who doesn't have anything to do with anything. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's just not my cup of tea. I'm the type of person who's like at a restaurant, like tidying up my plates and shit when they come to pick it up after everything.
I do the same thing.
Oh, dude, I love you. You're my favorite type of person. I love you.
I don't pay money to do dishes, kid. Like. No.
I just like stack them up to make it easier.
Yeah.
And you know who can do that? The person that's getting paid to do that.
No, with the paying on top of it. With the tip, especially.
Come on. All right. Well,
come on.
We're totally divided on this. That's nice.
And you know what? Like, you're right. I'm not going to yell at the kid in front of me that has nothing to do with my problem, but I'm sure as hell going to yell at that boss because that person can. Yeah, you're right. That kid that's talking to me can't give me the discount.
Exactly.
I don't need to talk to him. I'm letting him know within 3 sentences, I don't want to talk to you. Get me someone else.
That was my first mistake. Because he the
manager like ASAP.
Yeah, because that guy can't do shit for you anyway.
And if the manager don't show up in 5 minutes, she's out the fucking door and she's hammering corporate.
Yeah.
That's what happened too. He basically deferred to his manager, like walked over and then walked back, and he's like, "This is what we can do." And at that time, I should have been like, you know what? Can I talk to her? I'm learning, man. I'm learning, live and learn. But silver lining is I don't have to go pick it up. I just have to wait 2 goddamn months. Like
I do think it's hilarious though that like me and Mike are totally on one side of the fence and you and Josh are totally on the other side of the fence.
Young blood, man. Young blood.
Yeah. Really didn't teach me that. Like I don't know where I got that.
Millennial powers.
We got these gray beards over here and taking the shit.
Clean up my motherfucking mess.
Too old for that shit.
Yep.
I ain't lifting my arms to do nothing but eat this burger, bruh.
Yeah.
All right, Zach, what about you?
What the hell did I even do this week? It was a great weekend because we had the first football's a big thing around my house, and it was what was that? Sorry,
Go Vegas.
Go Vegas.
So you know what, dude? I bought tickets in Vegas.
Nice.
Yes.
I'm doing it.
They're not playing in Vegas now, are they?
No. They started in 2020.
Yeah.
But,
okay. Wait, so you pre-ordered tickets for 2020?
Yeah. I should have them all. I should have it all paid off by the time they open. So, but it'll be fun. The way I look at it, I'll move enough tickets to get a free trip or 2 to Vegas a year. It'll be worth it. Awesome. But yeah. So Sunday it was. We had a bunch of people over, a lot of local friends and family coming over and did a big potluck thing. My homie Carlos made ribs and they were phenomenal. But it was just funny because it was one of those moments where you step back and look at how fast things change. And 5 years ago, football Sunday around my house was just drunken debauchery. It was just people showed up at 9 a.m, left at 9 p.m. It was 12 hours of just straight booze and hard liquor. And now it's there's 10 children running around my house, all under the age of 6, they're all just going nuts. And the whole thing has changed into okay, let's create the backyard that's a safe play zone, and like all these,
Swapping recipes and whatnot.
Yeah. And like getting loose on a Sunday now is like, wow, you had like 5 beers. It's just where that was like an hour. That was like, okay, the first game's starting. Let's get beer number 6. And it's just it was one of those like step back moments where you're like, Jesus, things change fast.
Honey, we're getting crazy tonight. We're gonna have 4 kids on the trampoline.
Exactly. It was one of those like where before it was like, okay, who's rolling through with the fireball? Let's do this. Like, oh man. Yeah. Kids though, they do it to you.
Yep, absolutely, man. Yep. All right, Mike, we're going to throw it on to you to wrap us up here, man. What you got going on this week? What's going on in your life you want to share?
So mine was a couple weeks ago, but since I'm not weekly, I'll go ahead and give you the story. I went to Vegas, and I did we stayed there for a week, did a lot of debauchery, but the story I'll tell is I kind of tie it back to video games. I went and shot guns, and I'd never done that. I've never even held a gun before. I'm not a huge gun guy. Like there's certain, America's different than most other. I won't get into all that, but what I will say is that I learned that, to respect the gun and understand what it's about. And my video game knowledge of first-person shooters and seeing all the guns that I've shot before and know them pretty intimately, I ended up shooting a Glock, a pump-action shotgun, an AK-47, and an MP5. And it was very fun. And I knew exactly what to do pretty much, even though I'd never held a gun. And he was impressed. And I told him, yeah, I play video games. And he gave me a look, and he was like, oh, okay, all right. And I shot very well and hit the targets pretty much consistently and had a blast. And the AK-47 especially, because I've shot it before. For some reason, I was remembering a game like Haze. I don't know why. An awful first-person shooter that I finished.
Wow, Haze, man.
Yeah,
that's okay.
But that's the game that popped up because I remember how bad it was, and I finished it, and I remember using an AK-47 in it a lot, I believe. So, but the cool thing about the AK was it's full automatic, so you basically just hold it down and 30 bullets come out at once. And it was just funny thinking about certain video games and shooting the guns as I was basically shooting the gun, thinking of certain video games, tying a game to each gun.
So while you were holding the Glock, were you like, I'm Michael Croft, bitch? Like,
no, actually, the Glock made me think of Half-Life. I don't know why, but it was just like because I used the Glock in that, or I don't know if it was a Glock, but it was the pistol. I used that a lot for shits and giggles. So you just like MP5. I thought of an old game called TAC Ops. It was a Unreal Tournament mod. It was one of my favorite shooters back in the day.
I remember that. Man, I haven't thought of that game in forever.
Oh man, we used to land that. I worked grave shift for a company, and the people who worked swing and the people who worked day would come in at night, and we'd play all night. So I would get paid to monitor our networks and still play games all night.
Wasn't that Unreal Tournament sort of version of like Team Fortress?
Yes. Well, it was. Yeah, it was actually. It was more. It wasn't Counter-Strike.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was more team based than that, right? Like
no, TAC Ops wasn't team based. It was more
I'm sorry. I mean, Counter-Strike was more team based than.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. TAC Ops was pretty. It was you'd be on teams of 4 or 5 or maybe 5, I think, but it was all for one. It was just team deathmatch mostly. It wasn't team based, but I loved it to death. I think it was because we landed so much. It wasn't actually that good a game. The graphics weren't great. The gunplay wasn't all that great, but it was just the times I spent with these people playing it. So the MP5, I always think of that. I think of certain maps that we played on too. So I always tie everything back to video games. But one last thing about the shooting that was fun. This dude came in with his son, and big guy. He was even bigger than me. And he came in, and we're like, oh, maybe he hasn't shot before either. And he's next to us. All of a sudden, he shoots, and you look, and he made a smiley face in the hole or in the thing. Then he took a machine gun out and made an arrow. He pointed down to the dude's genitals and made an arrow like straight down his chest to his genitals. And even the guy, the dudes that were the instructors were like, oh my god, I don't even know how you. They were like, the one was he was a Navy SEAL, and he was like, I can't even do that. So yeah, I thought that was very funny. I thought I was being punked for a minute. I'm like, who the hell can do that?
Yeah, right.
But But it was Vegas is a lot of debauchery, man. You can do pretty much anything in Vegas, and so I just thought that was a funny story because I could tie it back to video games on top of it.
Yeah, my father-in-law. Oh yeah. My father-in-law is a big gun nut, and he's got all kinds of cool stuff. And so I've never shot a gun before until I hung out with him. And he goes to shooting range all the time. My wife is actually a really good shot. She's shot her whole life,
Nice.
guns. She's been around guns her whole life, but he's always like been really big on like gun safety and stuff. So, but yeah, my wife's a killer shot. She's actually really good with a gun, which kind of scares me and make sure I behave myself. But
Hey, keep you on the straight and narrow, son. Like,
yeah, there's no side chick here. Let me tell you.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I've shot Tommy guns, or what you would call a shit. What's the other name for it?
Well, like a
Thompson machine gun. Yeah, Thompson machine. Yeah. I've shot one of those.
That's semi-automatic, right? Like a burst.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and I've shot a couple like rifles and all kinds of variations of pistols and stuff. So it is fun.
Yeah,
I don't fuck with shotguns though. I'm a little dude. They'll knock me on my ass.
Oh, the pump action was fun. They held our shoulders in place, so they were really good about showing you how to do it. And the pump action was actually my favorite. But I enjoyed them all, and I'm not a big gun guy. Like I said, I've never even held one before, but it was something, it was bucket list type stuff like the tattoo, and figured I'd be in Vegas for a week in between jobs. Let's go ahead and spend money I ain't got and have some fun.
Yeah, might as well.
That's what I'm here for, man.
When in
It all comes full circle, man.
Here in Vegas. Yeah. Exactly.
YOLO. All right, cool.
That's it for me.
Awesome. All right, well, we'll wrap it up here. So, Mike, thanks for coming on this week, man. We appreciate it. Filling in for Shannon for us.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. It was a good time.
Hope you had fun.
It was freaking rad, dude.
Yeah, if you ever need me again, I'm here.
Awesome, man. We will keep you in mind next time we need some fill-ins for sure, man.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Alaina, thank you. Zach, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all.
All right. Hopefully next week we will have all of these feed issues on all these platforms taken care of. Hopefully people will actually get this episode delivered to them this time. But otherwise, don't forget to follow us on Facebook at That Pixel Life. You can join our Facebook group as well. The link to that is on our website, thatpixellife.com, or you can just search That Pixel Life on Facebook too. You'll find it there as well. Please, reviews on iTunes, drop them for us. It helps them out a lot. It helps us out a lot. It helps us kind of climb the ranks a bit. With more reviews we have, gets more eyeballs on us. We'd really appreciate it. It only takes a minute. And otherwise, you can contact us on any of the methods that we have on our website, including email, which is support@thatpixellife.com. Let us know if there's any topics you want us to discuss, anything you want us to cover, any feedback you want to give us. Use it. That's what it's there for. Otherwise, that's it for us this week, guys. We'll see you next week. Have an awesome weekend, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.